Yes, people, welcome to LFC Red Forever channel. It's been a while doing this. I know. I apologize for that. Chat shows are coming back slowly. I'm trying to get a lot of guests on here, different guests, just to, rotate people and all that stuff. So today, as you can see, is the episode 40 of Let's Talk of LFC. So we're talking about the players that's left and what impact they had at Liverpool Football Club. We're going to do like each player individually, and we're going to start with obviously Jurgen Klopp and the new captain and the vice captain as well. So there's lots to talk about today, guys. There's lots to talk about. I've got Uncle Rodz and I've got 12th man, Liverpool 12th man as well. So I've got two people already joining me. Baz couldn't make it. He had an incident, so hopefully he's okay. I'll keep in touch with him obviously after the stream and see how he's doing. Yeah, so we've got a lot to talk about, and hopefully I could bring everyone in. I could bring 12th man in. Can you hear me, mate? Hopefully everybody's okay. I'm just waiting for Uncle Rodz to come back. No worries, bro. No worries. What's going on, man? What's going on? How you been, man?
Hey. Just enjoying the day. Like I said, it's another hot one. It's just summertime in Arizona is not an enjoyable. Not very enjoyable to say the least, but yeah, all the same.
England is different now. Like normally,
I like the hip hop background you had on. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, bro. I got a lot of stuff for you guys. Don't worry, man. I do a lot of stuff in the background. I got all the legends in there. The legends, ex rappers and rappers currently as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to be talking about obviously the players that's left. Each player, we're talking about him individually and see the impact they've done at Liverpool Football Club. And we're going to talk about obviously today's news about Lavia's transfer and Andre from Fluminense in Brazil. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about Klopp as well. Klopp saying trust us with this process that's coming up. A lot of people are hesitant about it and they're moaning about it, but we could twist it in a way that's positive. You know what I mean? And because that's the way we've got to go, 12 man. We can't go in a negative way, because if we start off the season with a negative thought, then it's gonna, go down to the players and it's gonna, ruin everything and all that stuff. Yeah,
I know. I think that's the best. That's so on point what you just said, though. I just want to add that. People don't understand the actual, influence and direct energy that we present when we don't recognize it, but.
Yeah, we should do, mate. We should do. At the end of the day, well, family and all that stuff. And if you could think about it this way, like if you want to go for a title, if you want to go for challenging and all that stuff, you got to go in it with a positive thought instead of a negative thought. And that's what I want to bring in the next few streams, because it's too late to worry now, man. You know what I mean? Let's just get on with it. You know what I mean? Let's go.
Hey, if you're scared, get a dog, man. That's how I say it. If you're scared, get a dog.
Yeah, so we're gonna start until Uncle Rodz comes back. We're gonna start with this, mate. What do you think of these two becoming a captain and a vice captain for Liverpool Football Club at the moment? I think it's okay, but I prefer Trent just to take it, so he could grow with the team eventually, and come to his own. Like, Van Dijk, I don't know how many years he's got left. I think he's 32 now, so he's got only a couple of years left. So if we would have had Trent in an early age, maybe he could have grown with the team. But a couple of years, it's not bad. I rather, it's not bad for me. But what do you think of it, mate? Like both of them being a captain, because a lot of people are saying, why isn't Salah a captain and all that stuff? But I'll come on to that. I'll let you know why he ain't a captain at Liverpool Football Club.
Okay, yeah. If you have a take on that, I'm very interested to hear why you think that as well. I am, unlike some people, I am very, very happy about this. I am very happy about this under many different pretenses. I have an actual episode that I just filmed or just taped, and it deals with just what you're talking about, this new era of football, or at least of captains in our for our team.
Yeah.
And why is it significant to me is this. Look, and this is from a black man's perspective, okay? I'm referencing this as, look, we've only had two black captains of Liverpool in the entirety of this club's existence. Okay,
Exactly.
and it was either John Barnes or Paul Ince. Okay,
Yeah.
and John Barnes was captain twice. Paul Ince was captain once. Okay, and what it is for me is significant because you're looking at this picture right now, people, and this is possibly, in my memory, one of the first times I've ever seen a captain and a vice captain of a club in the Premier League be the same color of my own skin.
Yeah.
That is
meaningful
and very important to me as a person. You can say what it is about, you know, whether they deserve it or this or that. And that's everyone can have their own opinions on those merits. But what I can say for me is that I am looking past all those things and realizing the significance of this anointment of these two players. And that is something that really resonates with me. I am proud of these two brilliant black men, and I am very, very supportive of their rise and wishing them all but success and everything else. But that's one of the biggest things for me. Again, I'm just speaking for myself. That resonates with me, and that's why it's important, and that's why I'm so happy to see this happen.
Yeah, I agree, man. I 100% agree. Like there ain't that many captains. I don't know. Maybe it happened in other teams. I don't know. Arsenal, maybe.
I mean, can you think? I've done research and looked, or at least I was looking, scouring the internet to see when has ever been a Premier League team that's had a vice and a captain, vice captain and a captain both be black players.
Never happened.
I can't remember. Yeah, we're discussing the captains, the new captains for Liverpool Football Club, which is Van Dijk became the official captain and Trent became the vice captain. What do you think of that, mate? Are you happy with that, or a lot of people saying why doesn't Trent become the captain so he could grow with the team instead of you know, making him vice captain? What do you think of it?
Yeah. First off, I'd like to say thank you for inviting me on the show. Do you know what I mean? I better just try and sit that way so I can get the camera. There you go. You know what I mean? So first off, you know, obviously, like I say, thank you for inviting me on the show. Listen, to me, at the end of the day, it's very significant. Do you know what I mean? And like, let's take the Trent situation today. Some people saying that you know, he should have been the captain, allowing to grow into the role and so forth. He's going to do that anyway, being vice captain. Yeah, because every time at the end of the day over Virgil van Dijk's tenure and then being with the club and being captain, that he's going to be injured. So naturally, at the end of the day, he's going to be leading that team. Do you know what I mean? So he's going to get his chance to lead in the lead. Do you know what I mean? And you got to think about it, isn't it? He's won everything at the age at the end of the day, or 24. Yeah. When he's 24, he's won everything. So naturally, to me, at the end of the day, sort of like you put somebody like that as a vice captain and somebody at the end of the day that's obviously more mature in age than him. Do you know what I mean? You put him as as the older head. You put him at the end of the day, sort of like, you know, as the captain at the end of the day. So they can learn from each other. Do you know what I mean? They can literally learn from each other because it's not a one-way thing where, you know, like you say, where he will be learning from Virgil van Dijk and stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's a two-way thing. Do you know what I mean? I think most of the people wanted Trent at the end of the day to be captain at the end of the day because he's a Scouser. Do you know what I mean? That was probably one of the main reasons. But like, to me, at the end of the day, Klopp has made a brilliant decision, amazing decision, and one that is synonymous in the day to people of color of this country, that's given to this country. Do you understand what I'm saying? And not always seen at the end of the day people look like them in sort of like in a main sort of like role. Do you understand what I'm getting at? Do you know what I mean? You know? 100%. Yeah. And like people, kids of today and day, right? You know, young black kids and day of today can sort of like grow up and think that, right, and think to themselves, you know what? I can do that. That could be me one day. If I buckle down and work hard, that could be me one day. He could be a massive role model and day for young black kids that are coming up. As when sort of like, and I know at the day sort of like Man United and they're rivals and for that. But look at what Rashford done. Do you know what I mean? He's an inspiration to black kids growing up. You know what I mean? Giving back to his community and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And this is what it's all about. Do you know what I mean? And you know, I felt even though at the end of the day I'm not a Man United fan, I felt proud at the end of the day of the accolades and the knighthood and sort of like the compliments that like Rashford was getting. Everybody was looking up to him and that, because not only did that in the day, so like he said, well, you know, he started off with his area, but he took it he took it sort of like countrywide and everything that. And something that does that can only be admired. So like when you get such situations like this with Trent and Virgil van Dijk being the first two black people and they black footballers that they to date, you know, because it hasn't been done. I'm not saying it's not going to be done after, but it hasn't been done up to now. Yeah. When you get these two black players at the day, captain of one of the most iconic teams at the day in the land. Let's not like you know, let's not make no mistake. Let's not make no bones about it. This is the most iconic team in the land. You know what I mean? Yes. And you got two black lads and everything that, right? One local and one from Holland and everything that, right? Yes, captain and vice captain of the team. Come on now, man. This is a good day for everybody. No, it's true. It's a good day. Everybody, yes. Listen, yesterday night, and that me, 12th man, Solo, and Toto was talking yesterday, yeah. And we was talking about the situation and that, and went on to obviously many other different things. We was talking about that, and like when I came off that, and I started watching this thing called Gangs of London, and the three main characters in there are black. It kind of made me feel kind of like, wow, things are probably, you know, you can, I don't know, so like, I was aggravated, but you can think to yourself, well, look, you know what, Nene, maybe things are moving in the right direction. Yes, sir. Do you know what I mean? In the way of sort of like, you know, people being able to sort of like live together and in love and harmony. Maybe it's that. I don't know. You know what I mean? But
100%,
I am.
100%,
This is one of the proudest moments of my entire life of being a Liverpool football fan for over 40 years. This is one of the most proudest moments of my life, in about to see Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander. One is a captain and one's a vice captain, and they look like us. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I feel so proud.
Spot on. I agree with you 100%. Do you want to share anything else, 12th man, before I go on?
No. I mean, that's spot on. That's just spot on by what he's saying. Like, you know, I can't. There's not much more I could add to that in the sense of just I'm proud of these two young men, and I'm proud of the fact that they're representing a club of this stature. You know, and the fact that it's going to that these faces are going to be the faces that you see representing this club in these authority positions is huge to me, and I think it's important, and I think it's very symbolic, and I think it's something saying of how forward-minded and how just, you know, impressive this club can be at times. That, you know, that we don't, and despite the fact that sometimes people don't want to give them the respect for what it's due. Of
course. Yeah. 100%. I agree 100%. With me, at first, you know, like I said it, Trent, maybe Van Dijk, but I understand where Klopp is coming from. You know, like Trent is 24 years old. When Gerrard took the captaincy from Hoopier, I think it was a bit too early because he hasn't developed as a player yet. I think too much pressure on him straight away probably ruined his progression, you know, just thinking about football, if you know what I mean. That's what you need players to do at a certain age, when they're 24, 23. Just think about football, and then the captaincy will follow when you're 27, 28, something like that. So hopefully with Trent will, you know, when he takes over, he'll be more mature. You know, people already ask about him, like, why is he laid back? Why is he, you know, not bothered? I mean, now probably you're going to see a different player now with more responsibility, you know what I mean? And that defensive side might even improve, if you know what I mean, because he's got more responsibilities now. But there's another thing I want to alert to. It was about Salah. A lot of people were complaining about Salah, saying, why isn't Salah the captain? You've got to look at it this way, people. Salah hasn't got long left at Liverpool. That's number one. Number two, Salah is a Muslim. You know what I mean? So, you know, like Salah, there's rainbow, you know, armbands and all that stuff. He's devout Muslim, so he can't go into things like that, and that's why he's not.
That's a very, very good take. I didn't really think about that.
Think about it that way. If you're a devout Muslim and you know, I mean, you can't put on an armband like that, and then, you know, is going to cause a lot of issues around the club. Look what's happening to Henderson already. You know what I mean, you got to think about it that way. This is why Salah hasn't been nominated.
Solid take. I didn't even think about that.
So
there's
no offense. There's no offense to anyone or anything like that. It's just it's his belief. So respect it, like he respects other people. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
No. I never looked. I really didn't look at it that way. Do you know what I mean? 12 man.
Mhm.
Never looked at it in that way, but that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. Yeah,
and he's got to represent them and all that.
He's
stuff.
a part of the leadership
Henderson
group,
was doing.
Let's not undercut the fact though that they've announced a leadership group, and that was something else that I had part of my episode is that they announced a leadership group, and the leadership group is obviously Virgil and Trent, but obviously then Robbo, Mo, and Ali. Basically all the senior players. You know, the players that have really been the major contributors that are left on this club from those championship years. So, you know, he might not be wearing the armband, but he's a captain
in a way,
is still a part of the leadership group in this. So it's not I want to make sure that people understand that he's not been, you know, passed by or overlooked or anything like that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people like moaning about it. Yeah. So
that's good. That's good. Sorry, that's good that they got like a leadership group as well. Do you know what I mean? You know, that sort of like young players, and then they can, when they come in, they can sort of like kind of look up to these players and they can show them the way. Because if sort of like if rumors are to believe that and they, I mean, I know we'll probably get onto it later, but if rumors are to believe that and they about this kid at the day that we're trying to go for from Brazil, you know what I mean? Yeah. Something like Allison and they is going to come in vital for that, because one at the day, he's a devout Catholic, you know what I mean? He's a devout Catholic, you know what I mean? And he baptized Roberto Firmino. He actually baptized him and stuff, you know what I mean? And you see like people like Allison and they, he's got like a different kind of leadership, and the leadership that he's got is special. It is actually special. So like
very special.
You know, this leadership group, and I think that could pay dividends. It could really pay dividends
100%.
Or like help us out a lot in a big way.
The most important thing about the club right now is the age range has come down. Like it's like was it under 25, something like that? Yeah. Instead of like being over 31, so it's coming up like to 25. So it's not bad. It's not bad at all. So obviously we've covered the captaincy, and congratulations obviously to these two. I'm happy for them. No matter what, we're not gonna like downgrade their actual influence in the team either. The next thing we're going to be talking about, guys, is let me just bring it up. Hopefully I can find it. I'll do a lot of stuff off the screen before we start. So yeah, let's talk about this.
You are professional.
Let's talk about this, guys. Yeah, so another bid for Lavia. It's been rejected, according to you know, a lot of reports. What do you guys think about that? About Lavia? Like, are we mucking about with this transfer, or are we holding out for another one? Because it looks like this kid from Fluminense is the one we're going after now.
It's something of craziness to me, because I mean, he checks a lot of the boxes that we want to see, which is like homegrown. It checks the under 21 box, you know. There's a lot of different things that he definitely brings to the fold that are promising in the sense of his own promise in general. But when it comes to this player, for me, I can understand our trepidation on getting to that 50 million mark, because this market, let's be honest, this market is wild. It doesn't make, a lot of it just doesn't make any sense for the numbers that are going. I mean, it's overvaluing a lot of these players. It's often in the case having certain parts of it be brought to you, and it's one of those things where I don't know if 50 million, if he's a $50 million player, 50 million pound player, to be honest with you. And I know that someone might say, oh, it's only additional 5 million, because we already put up 42.5 plus 2.5. You know, so that's like 45 million with the add-ons. You know, and then people will be like, oh, it's only 5 million. No, that 5 million. I don't know about you, but 5 million is a lot of money for me too.
It's a lot of money. Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Hey, you know, I might have expensive bottles in the background, but it still doesn't mean I'm you know what I mean?
I don't know.
So, like, realistically, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm still a little hesitant, but then there has been mentioning of Andre from the Brazilian that you just mentioned, you know, and we're investigating pursuing that. You know, that's a $20 million investment on a player that is already being the heir apparent to Fabinho's role as DM for Brazil. You know, so obviously the guy can ball, and yeah, it's one of those things where I'm just like, you know, we'll get there. I understand that we'll definitely get there, but I don't know if it's 50 million. I mean, it sounds crazy, but I don't want to overspend on players just to get players in.
I mean,
I hear from you.
Yeah, I hear you still. I mean, to be honest, my argument would be at the end of the day, it's just like, you know, they must have known at the day, sort of like when they've shown interest at the day in the player, that sort of like, you know, Southampton weren't going to budge and anything like that. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now I think at the end of the day, sort of like, you know, there's no point in the day, so like, you know, putting in 37 million and putting in 45 million, because you probably know that and then that's going to be rejected. Do you understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
So I just think at the day, the time at the day you put in these two bids at the day was a time at the day that you could have sort of like been out there, sort of like potentially looking for somewhere else. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So my argument is this now, right? Is that we obviously know it in there, because what I was just listening to this guy and I think that, and he always comes out with like credited stories and stuff. Do you know what I mean? You know, and what he was saying at the day is like, look, at the day, what it looks like in the thing that this 45 million bid and it's going to be rejected. There's no doubt it's going to be rejected. I think what is Southampton is actually doing, they're literally and they're holding out for this 50 million. You know what I mean? Because 20% of that 50 million has got to go to Man City. You know what I mean? That's got to go to Man City.
That's what I was about to say. You took my one away. Yeah. This is why they're desperate to get 50. Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So you can understand where they're coming from. Southampton's coming from. Mm-hmm. You can understand where they're coming from. You think so, well, you want this player, you think it's a good player, you want this player, well, we want X amount, and I think that, and we're not budgeting for that still. Because you got to think about it. Liverpool literally do the same thing. We don't get the wool pulled over our eyes when it comes to transfer. No. We get the maximum, you know what I mean, out of the transfer, and we don't settle for less than that. So really and truly, it's only a matter of time for them before a team does that to you. Do you know what I'm saying? 100%. So like, you know, I feel at the end of the day, look, at the end of the day, right, and this is one of my main points. Is this right? With 50 million at the end of the day, you can probably go to South America, and pick up sort of like 2 midfielders, and he probably if you added let's say 10 million, because remember at the day, you know, they've literally got 60 million to spend now, because they sold Nat Phillips for 8 million, they sold Henderson for 12 million, and they sold Fabinho for 40 million, so that's 60 million they got, right? They can go to South America, right, and literally in a day pick up 3 players for that money. 100%. They can do that. They can go because what?
Future. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Because
we only have 2 roster spots for 2 international players, unless they're on the 21.
But what it is at the day, because at the day, this guy was 21, like in January, you don't have to register him. Do you understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
So that then in the times of the day gives you more space to play with. You know what I mean? What you tend to do in everything that, right? You tend to go to these players that are young and for that, and obviously making sure at the end of the day their birthday falls at a certain time at the end of the day. That's sort of like, you know, you might not have to sort of like register them. Do you know what I mean? That's all a part of scouting. It all comes under scouting. But what I'm saying is at the end of the day, we've been fans at the day saying that they will look at the day. Liverpool should really test that sort of like international market, because like all the time and Porto at the end of the day they're plussing out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Brighton are the same. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
spending a couple of mil for these players and that, and about 2 or 3 seasons down the line, yeah, they're selling them for 100 mil. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can't say that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, so you can explore that. That's a market. If you don't want to spend 50 million and day on certain players and everything that, right? Well, then the South American market is a market that you explore. Look at Alvarez. That's with Man City and everything that.
Man City, yeah.
15 mil from River Plate. 15 mil from River Plate, and he's a baller. So really and truly,
no, you're right about that. I was just gonna say the only pushback I would say is that, look, you know, there's also, I don't know if Oz is going to bring it up or not, but there's also been talk about us initiating talks for Viega, right? And and that's something of like, okay, cool, but you know what? He wants playing time. Like he wants major starting playing time. You know, and it's one of those things where like some of these players, like, I'm cool, for instance.
They get it. Huh? Don't think this guy Vega, what is he, a midfielder or a defender?
He's a defensive midfielder.
He's a progressive midfielder.
Right, you don't get it. The thing is about the film, this is probably at the end of the day. Sorry to cut you off, man. Yeah. This is probably one of the best times at the end of the day, right? Yeah, to come to Liverpool. Because the space is there. We have lost 5 players. Not a lot, well, let's say we lost 5 players, but 5 players that they have moved on. Yeah.
Important.
Yeah, I mean, important players as well. 5 important players have moved on. You can't tell me at the day these players. If Klopp brings in players now from the South American League or whatever, yeah, you can't tell me that these guys ain't getting playing time.
No, they are. No, I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I'm not saying, hey, let's not. I'm also not saying we shouldn't bring in someone of these kinds of players to fill these positions that are in need. However, I do see it as like, if we're going to put these players in that role, they need to be at that level to make it work. So for me, I'm cool with giving Lavia time at DM, but am I cool at saying he's going to be create the production that we saw from Fab at his peak? Is he saying that he's going to be the, you know, some style of senior player that we expect that role to hold? No. It's going to take a committee of players.
He's still learning, yeah.
And these players, in their mind, they want to play. They want to play every game, and that's cool. They should, but realistically, they also have to have a measured understanding of the roles and not be someone that's going to be like the reason why Viega. So Viega is apparently, we're going to investigate. We're really interested in him still. However, we're contemplating knowing that we're not going to just give him the minutes that he wants. We're contemplating saying we'll initiate the buyout clause, and then we'll loan you back. We're going to loan you back to the team, and that
I'm not feeling that,
guys. And that obviously says we value as a player, but let's be honest. There's a complex, equation that we have to work out here, and that is minutes, how you're going to blend in with the team, how you're going to understand the system. All these different things have to work and have to be created equally. And if they're
that's a risky. That's a risk that you take with sort of like every player. I mean, look,
absolutely,
yeah. I mean, look, we bought in Sabozalai and I think that, right? Yeah,
but they're different risks. You can say they're different measures of risk, couldn't you say that?
Yeah,
you say that too, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying,
if I've said let's bring in Kimmich or let's bring in Frankie de Jong, that's a different level of saying, oh yeah, he'll probably be able to fit into this system, or he'll probably be able to take on that DM role as on the level that we expect him to do it.
Yeah, but it's still the same. It's still the same risk, though. It's still the same risk.
Oh no, I don't agree with that.
No, it's still the same risk. Look at
De Jong and Lavia and De Jong are not the same level of risk.
No, but look at Besetic now. Look at Besetic in the day, right? Nobody knew at the end of the day, sort of like that he was going to bang at the end of the day the way that he banged last season. But what is it in the day? Klopp at the day took a chance and then brought him in, showed him at the day what he wanted, and showed him what he expected out of him. And he came in and he's done a good job. Done a very good job. Although at the day he was out, there's 2 games at the day I saw him at the day that he was like out of his depth. For that was the Man City game and the Real Madrid game. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think he should have played those 2 games. However, we never had anybody else, so you know what I mean. That's all the rest is history. But what I'm trying to say, the only way at the end of the day that you're gonna know these people at the day are gonna be able to do a job and everything like you likes of Vega, like you likes of Andre, The only way you're going to do that is to give them minutes, and it's obviously at the end of the day you train them and everything that and then you get used to. That's why initially at the end of the day I'm saying that the Liverpool at the end of the day should sort of like be pulling their socks up, because the fact that right, if we did it from that and decide which player we want, we could have them in pre-season, and they can at least get used to sort of like the way that we play and what's expected out of them in there, right? And then my
argument though.
No, but hold on. Oh, give me 1 second. At least at the end of the day, they can literally sort of like know what's to come of them. But saying that, and I think that Klopp at the end of the day, right, is going to he brings these 2 players in. Klopp's not going to put them in and give them minutes in the day until he knows that they're ready. And he will explain that to them. Look what they did with Fabinho. Fabinho, when he came to the club, Fabinho didn't play straight away.
Robertson either. Robertson.
It was about a month or two, right, before they started to play. And they got the minutes and everything.
He had to nurture him. Like, he tried to play. You know what I mean? To play Fabinho on his own, but it wasn't working. So he had to get players around him to nurture him, and then eventually,
you know what I mean. So he came into his own. Yeah, he's going to. But literally, and then what's going to happen? And Klopp's always going to do what's best for the team. So if he brings these players in, like your Vega and like your Andre, and like even if he gets sort of like another player from, I don't know, instead he gets another player from South America, like a defender and everything right? Yeah. No doubt and everything that he's not going to bring these players in and then right, until he knows that they are ready and everything that. And then he'll start giving them minutes. People like Vega, people like Andre, them two players are too good at the end of the day, right? To like let them walk by. They're too good. You have to go there, get them, take the risk, because you got to think about that. People
like So let me just have one final shot here. Why I'm saying what I'm saying is this: we will openly accept that Frankie De Jong or a Joshua Kimmich, are definitely levels above Andre or Lavia or even Vega, right? We can definitely agree on that, correct?
Yeah.
So why I'm saying this is that, one, Viega is asking for minutes immediately. He wants starter minutes, and he wants them now, like as in from the gate. Okay. I agree with what you're saying about Klopp, as in like he likes to orchestrate players eventually. Yeah. He hasn't done that with every player though. And why I would push back on what you said is he didn't do that with Virgil van Dijk, because Virgil van Dijk had the acclimate to be able.
Yeah, but Virgil van Dijk had experience in Premiership.
He didn't do that with Diaz either. What's that?
Virgil van Dijk, and I think Virgil van Dijk didn't come from another country and to England. Virgil van Dijk came from Southampton, so he already knew how the Premiership goes. You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to say, is this, right? It's different in the day if you've got a player in the day for another country to a player in the day sort of like in this country. If you've got a player in this country, then no doubt in the day you can put them straight in, and then because they've got a good idea in the day of how the Premiership works. It's fast, it's physical, and blah 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? But what I'm trying to say in the day, like in the way of Vega, let's just take Vega and think that, right? If Klopp buys Vega and everything that, Klopp will say to Vega, I'm telling you in the day, I know you want minutes and everything that, right? Yeah. But hear what you do, right? Get used to it and get used to it in the day.
Wait, hold on. Wait, you're not understanding.
No, what I'm saying is get used to.
Interested in that conversation. He's already told you that I want minutes. I'm not trying to have a conversation of you telling
me.
But
that's what I'm trying to say. He's not going to come. But he's not going to come to the club. What I'm trying to say at the end of the day, right? No guy at the end of the day can go to goes like the next club. Right? Put it this way, they know at the end of the day that a club and they're interested in that. No guy at the end of the day can put demands on that club and that because more time
they got to fight for the position.
They can't because more time at the day.
You're not
the club's not going to buy them.
You're not going to buy them. My simple point is this: there are levels of this. Lavia is not the same level as Frankie de Jong. He isn't.
Yeah, but we know that. But what is that? We know that. But what I'm trying to say to you is this, right? Check this now. Frankie de Jong was never always at this level in the day. It's somebody in the day that took a chance on him, whether it be at the Ajax Academy or whatever. It's somebody that took a chance on him from that, right? And like gave him the minutes and this and that. But you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it without getting the minutes.
Let me land my point. My point is this.
Badman will come to the way to the. Badman will come to the way to the dog. You know, say you see that sick.
Let me say this.
Go on.
It's a good combo, though, guys. It's a good combo.
And I'm not saying he doesn't. Lavia has a world of potential. But what I am saying is there's a reason why Frankie de Jong's making £600,000 a week, and Lavia isn't because they're at different levels. That's all I'm trying to get across is that you said there's not players that don't demand it. Yeah, there are players like Frankie de Jong or Mbappe or freaking Messi or Neymar. Or
you're going over the top. You're going over the top now, fella. Over the top now.
Because, no, wait, hold on. First off, Frankie de Jong is possibly the best, if not top 5, defensive midfielders in the world. Joshua Kimmich, top 5 in the world. Arguably not. There's no argument with that. You cannot say that Lavia is top 5. So when you're,
I didn't say that though, did I?
Yes, you are because you're.
I'm not. Because the thing is what? One thing is that Frankie de Jong is up there.
Right.
Lavia's down there.
Right.
Kimmich is up there, and probably Lavia's down there, and other players that you mentioned in the day, right? Are probably way ahead at the end of the day in the development, way ahead in obviously in the way of like being a good footballer, right?
Yeah.
But what you got to understand at the end of the day, right, is at the beginning there wasn't always like that. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is people. Yeah, but people have taken a chance. People have taken a chance on people like Frankie de Jong, Kimmich, and all their mans there, and I think that, right? Musiala as well, yeah. Musiala as well. You can always say, arguably saying and day, right? Yeah, that Musiala and they when he was at Chelsea in a day, right? Yeah, when he was at Chelsea, he was a nobody. Nobody knew who Musiala was.
So you're saying Lavia, given a chance, Lavia is going to be able to create or produce at the same level as Frankie de Jong. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying Lavia
maybe not now. Maybe not
be the same as Frankie de Jong.
Yeah, but maybe not now.
That's
but
a
maybe
really bold take.
No, because what I'm trying to say,
I'm a positive person.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say, what I've seen for what I've seen for Lavia. What I've seen for Lavia and in day, right, isn't it? He has got the potential and day to kick on and be a great footballer. But what I'm trying to say is that you don't get those sort of like those aptitudes out of a player in day, right? In not taking a chance, not giving him minutes. Now, what I'm trying to say, the people like Vega and day, people like Vega and Vega. At this present moment, he cannot demand that the day. He cannot demand.
He's not even at the age to demand anything.
He can't demand when he goes to Liverpool to say that, right, you know what? I want minutes and I want this guy. You can't demand it because who the fuck are you? Nobody knows you. You know what I mean? Yeah, if anything, and we're doing you a favor.
I don't think
so when you get with a status quo, or you get to the status quo and everything that, right? Or we'll just go and find something else. But the thing is about
the argument is this: You keep saying potential. There's no potential when it comes to Frankie de Jong. I know what I'm getting. He's the finished article.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You don't understand. You don't hear what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Frankie de Jong's got potential. I'm saying that what it is. And right?
No, I said you're saying Lavia is. I'm not misunderstanding you. I said you said Lavia has potential. I'm understanding that. If you give him the opportunity, maybe that potential can grow. If not, you're saying it's going to be the same as a Frankie de Jong. Okay, I'm cool with that. I'm cool. I would love to see that. However, I can tell you, Frankie de Jong, I've seen the finished article. I know what he brings. I know what player he is. I know what it is. I'm not talking about potential. I'm talking about what is. And the difference is, it's the reason why I'm saying it's great when you go for a youth player, you're going on the hope that they can grow into a great player, not they are a great player for most chances. Yeah. Okay. And with that, that's the reason why I've been saying I would like to see more of a senior player in this role than opposed to a youthful player, because a youth player, you have to grow with them. You have to evolve. You have to understand the
system. But we all like to see
get to that level. With a player like a Frankie de Jong or a Kimmich, you already understand the fact that they are that player.
Yeah, but we all like to see that.
Those things because he's delivered it continuously on a.
We all like to see, but what I'm trying to say, we will all like to see and then the finished article. You understand what I'm getting at? You all like to see the finished article.
Can I enter this conversation? That's going good.
I love that.
With me, I got to be real with you guys. With this transfer, was it Vega?
Yeah,
I think it's a good prospect. Obviously, I've always said it. I've said it in Jamie Phillips' show a few times. I said, with FSG of way of thinking, like not spending a lot, wouldn't it be easier? You buy the marquee signings, and then you buy younger players that's got potential to take over their position eventually. Right. Then you don't have to spend a lot in the future. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
That's what we should be doing.
That's what I'm saying.
Especially the way FSG work. It would be the way of working.
But hold on. What I'm saying today, right? What I'm saying is this. Yeah, we all know FSG ain't gonna do that. FSG ain't gonna sanction the money to go out and buy sort of like a Frankie de Jong. You know what I mean? Which is on like 600 grand a week. They're not gonna sanction the money to get like a Kimmich. They're not gonna do that. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So really and truly, I'm just dealing at the day, right? All right. You know, like at the day, sort of like you know, when you got certain tools in the day, right? Yeah. And you have to deal with those tools that you got. Simply have to do the tool. And I'm dealing with those tools that I've got. So I'm saying it and they sort of like if they go and get a Lavia in the day, right? And they go and get a Vega and go and get sort of like this Andre Trinidad, they go and get these players, right? What I'm trying to say, and they have got sort of like they have got the potential and they are being world beaters and for that. If we manage their minutes and everything that, right, and help them grow, you know, for that, because we all know at the end of the day, right, that we're not gonna get a de Jong. You're not gonna get a de Jong on everything. Look how much they're pottering around and everything that, right, with Lavia. With Lavia, Lavia's like 50 million for that, right? Hold on, Lavia's 50 million for that, and then you know what they're not gonna they're gonna do everything in their power, and then right not to pay that money. I was surprised at the day when they bought that Guardiola and Guardiola was 60 million. I was surprised when they bought him Friday night, and then that Friday night and then when it broke to them, broke and then right that we bought Lavia for that. I was one of the most surprised Liverpool fans out, you know, for that, because I honestly thought in the day they was going to turn away from it and not going to bother. So we all know in the day that Liverpool do not go out and buy your Frankie de Jong. Liverpool don't go out and buy your sort of like your Busquets or whoever it may be. Them top marquee signings.
Not the finished articles.
I mean,
they don't do that. They're more or less than they go out and get a Vega. They more or less go out and get on the Trinidad. Because look at now, they're saying that they would if Southampton and they don't accept 45 million and they're going to turn their attention to this Andre guy now, right, in Brazil and everything that, because he's going to be like 20 million. And what they're saying is this. For me, they're saying that they don't really want to sell to next year. But we all know at the end of the day, right? Even the man said it. We all know at the end of the day, right? If Liverpool come with like 20 or 21 million and that, right? Because of the Brazilian Serie A, it's not really sort of like lavish like that. They're going to take that money. They're going to take that money. So really and truly, people and they need to get that people like Frankie De Jong and all those sort of people at the head, because I'm telling you today, it's not happening. In the ideal world, yes, I'd like it to happen, but it's not happening. So deal with the players that they that you that are you call it obtain that you could say don't reach for a shelf at the day that's too high. Reach for a shelf at the day that you can get what you get. You know what I mean? Because like
what you have,
because don't hang your hat where you can't. Hang your hat where you can't reach it. Never hang your hat where you can't reach it. Nothing like that. Yeah. So like people like Frankie De Jong, I know at the day, Frankie De Jong at the day, I know at the net about their players. They're brilliant, magnificent, and this and that. They're the future. We're not going to get those players, so I can't really talk about.
You got to be realistic in that way. You're right.
I can't really talk about that because I know at the day we're not going to get them.
I'm not. All right, so I use Frankie De Jong as a reference, and I use Kimmich as a reference. I understand.
We know.
We were in discussions, and it's still possible in discussions with Kimmich. Kimmich is making way too much money. If you want to go to the point of saying what they'll spend, is more so on the wage bill. I get that. The wage bill, I've already said that, and it's a point that I've done multiple episodes on, is saying that the wage bill is a valuable portion of why we don't go for certain players. If they don't fit the wage bill, or they're going to disrupt the chemistry of the wage bill of the locker room, it's going to be an issue or a problem. But again,
it's already a problem. Salah getting doubled to the next player, and it became a problem for a lot of players because at the time, Van Dijk, Alisson, they were best in the world, but they're just getting basics. You know what I mean?
What do you think? Mane left because of the same thing. Mane left at the day thinking you've given this guy in the day, you've given this guy close to nearly 400 grand a week, and what about me? I'm doing at the day just as much as what he's doing, and if not more. Do you know what I mean? And I never get it. So you know what? Today I'm out for ID 5,000. You get another season for me, and I'm out.
Spot on. We can see, guys. But the last part and point, Fozzie, I would say is this: is that when you're,
I like it.
We spoke. We started this conversation on whether the two players were on the same level. Then it's like migrated to now like whether we're going to spend the money on these players or not. Okay, now those are two separate issues. One, they're not the same player. They're not the same level.
I know that.
But with that said, they also create a difference in what you're going to. Your expectations are different for those players. You're saying I want to go to the craps table and roll the dice, but if I know that I have loaded dice, I know what numbers I'm rolling. And with those kinds of players, with the higher caliber players, that and again, I'm not saying just Kimmich or whatever. It could be a Barella, or it could be some of the other names, some of the other higher names that have been listed. Because we've been listed, we've been connected with 66 different, now 68, different midfielders. So for instance, one of the names that we were linked with, Valverde. Valverde is a player that I think that we possibly could or should have gone in for, considering But when we got Dom,
he suits Liverpool.
Yeah, but when we got Dom, the need for him kind of was taken care of. But all the same, Valverde is an exceptional player, plays midfield, and guess what? He's only on 150K for his wages, or around that. Okay, so therefore he can be slotted into that position of being in the wage budget of Liverpool. And yes, he's a high transfer price, but that's another subject. The point is, it's a complex argument when you have to bring about players and obtaining them. It doesn't all just get down to their youth or their age or whether it's all this a hybrid, callosum of all these different things of the transfer price, the wages that they make, whether they speak the language, whether they're going to be able to adapt to the system, whether they even whether they even like the culture of England. All these different things are parts and points that you have to document into what you're going to do.
The last point that I'm making, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, Tough Man, and right. But what I'm trying to say in the end of the day is these players, aren't they? Like Barella, Frankie De Jong, and all these players at the day, sort of that you say at the day is a finished article and from that, right? They come with a price. And the price that they come with and from that, right? Liverpool at the end of the day are not going to go and buy them. no matter sort of like what it is, Valverde and think that, right? If there was do you think at the end of the day, if there was a real solid chance at the end of the day of Liverpool getting Valverde and they for the right price, they wouldn't have got him. It's obviously at the end of the day, sort of like Real Madrid and they was going to fleece sort of like Liverpool. Like, Liverpool at the end of the day, once Liverpool at the day, once it gets sometimes at the day, once it gets 50 million in the day, they don't want to know. And this is probably at the day the whole argument of the day of why you got sort of like kind of like got a divided fan base, because what some fans are saying at the day, we should be in a position at the day where we can go and buy these players at the day, like a Frankie Dion, like a Barella, like a this man, that man. Do you understand what I'm saying? But we know at the end day, sort of like we know at the day that Liverpool is not going to buy those players now. I'm okay with it. I'm at peace with that. Trust me, I'm at peace.
It stressed me out for so long. I'm at peace. Myself.
I've said so many things about it. I'm at peace with it. So then, what you do then? Your next best thing is to buy these prospects at the day, right? These prospects that you can probably at the day make into world beaters. Yeah, right. For sort of like I don't know, sort of like a little amounts of money and everything that, right? Yeah. And then kick on. Because Liverpool at the day, whenever they see like a player in the day, right? Yeah. Once the money goes up, in fact, right? The man at Liverpool get a nosebleed, and we know this. Do you know what I mean? It's not true. It's true. Wait. Hold on. Look at Carl Sader. Yeah, but look at Carl Sader. How comes that? How comes at the end of the day how comes at the end of the day, right, that we haven't bought Carl Sader? Because the money's too high. Do you know what I mean? It's like that again and again. That's what I'm saying. I'm okay with it.
We just made an offering bid of £85 million to RB to Red Bull for Gravendal.
You know what? I believe that when I see it. But the fact of the day, if they made an 85 million bid for Guardiola and everything that, right? How comes they're pondering the moment and they are paying 50 million a day for Lavia? That should be chicken feed for them.
Because Lavia and Panadol are not the same level.
Yeah, but the fact
this is blowing my mind.
Yeah, but you're talking two different arguments. I'm not saying that that Lavia at the day is at that level of that is great. I'm not saying that. I said that at the beginning of the day. Lavia is not at that level. But what I'm trying to say to you today, the players at the day that are at those levels of what you're talking about, and from that, right? Liverpool are not going to buy them. They're not going to buy them. They will toy with you. They will toy with you and make you feel at the day that they're going to do it, but they're not going to do it because at the end of the day, right?
They always test the fans' reaction.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say. What they're going to do it because you know what? Number one, the money's too high. Number two, the wages are too high. They don't want to pay that money, so they will rather go out, and buy a Lavia. They rather go out and buy a Vega. They rather go out and buy Andre Trinidad, and because the money's low. And no doubt, and everything that you probably have to pay. You probably have to pay sort of like what's his name? Andre Trinidad. You probably get away with paying him 25 grand a week.
Yeah,
that's
you look at the wages and the buy.
So you're saying, where I'm seeing this hole in your argument.
Hold on.
Guys.
Hold on. Let me just say something. I know for a fact. I know. And then trust me. I know 100%. And there's levels. There's different levels between Lavia and this man. I know that. And nothing that. But the fact is, at the day, what I'm at peace at. This is what I'm at peace with at the day. I know that Liverpool at the day ain't gonna buy those players at the day that are at that level. Do you know what I mean? At least at the day, they're not gonna do it frequently. Do you understand what I'm saying? At the day, right? Things like Guardiola, and everything that. Forget about that. Trust me. Forget about that. Forget about all these big major signings at the end of the day, right? That you feel that Liverpool could bring in, because it's not gonna happen if they're pondering and murmuring. They're pondering and murmuring of buying Kevin Thuram and everything that, yeah. And Kevin Thuram was only going to be like 35 to 40 million.
So why
I'm
so enamored with this conversation, at least, is because you're speaking, especially to someone that understands that their analytical team is ridiculous. So much so that the whole entire league now has analytical teams. They never had those things really. Primarily, a lot of them had scouting groups and everything else. They went there and they did the eye test. It's the Moneyball thing. That's where I'm trying to get across, is that yes, I understand they're not going to spend $250 million on Mbappe, most likely. Okay, despite the fact of him being a world talent. But what I can say is that there's so much complexity in why and how they do make their purchases and what they evaluate and say is worthy of being a purchase for them. It goes so much for, again, the locker room. It goes to whether the player is going to be able to adjust and adapt to the team, whether he's down with the Klopp system, whether he's all these different levels.
I've just said that,
all those different levels of things are part of the analytics that they utilize. But I mean, it goes also to the point of saying, I get that you are about Lavia. That's cool. And I'm not saying that Lavia can't come and ball on this team. I'm not saying he's not a potentially amazing player. I'm not saying that he doesn't have definite benefits that he has in the sense of being homegrown and all those other things. However, you got to realize that their analytical team is weighing all those positives against the negatives that you personally don't know about, that are saying to them, is it worth $50 million? And their analytics are saying, not really.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But go on to somebody else. Go to somebody else. But 12 man. Is that the case?
Our need for a midfielder.
Yeah, but if that's the case, then they go.
Can you hear Uncle? Can you hear Uncle Rodz?
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say, I get that. Yeah, I get that. But then what you do then, you go into something else. What I'm trying to say to you is in the day, right? Analytical or not, what I'm trying to say to you, that these big signings in the day, that obviously in the day, that at that level in the day, right, that very good level. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, because at the end of the day, right. Number one, I love to see Barella in my team. I love to see a Frankie Dion in my team, and them sort of players. I would love to see them. But what is it? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What is the day? I know at the end of the day, right, is that Liverpool at the end of the day won't go for those players at the end of the day because either the money's too high or either the wages too high. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why, at the end of the day, I'm at peace with that, and I'm at peace at the end of the day of them going to get a Lavia. You know what I mean? So if they can't get a Lavia, if they can't do that, they can't do that. But whether they don't think 50 million is worth it or whatever it may be, right? Then what you do then, and you move on to your next target. You move to your next target until you get that player, and then do you feel that they can fill that void in your team and everything like that? But punching up weight and everything like that for people like of Frankie Dion stature and people like Barella stature. No, I'm just saying
he's not saying it, he's just giving an example.
I'm just saying that they're going for that sort of like stature of player and everything that, right? Which it's that the tried and tested, the ones that are tried and tested, the experienced one and for that. Those are the players at the day that every Liverpool fan at the day, right, for years at the day have wanted in the team. But what it is at the day, they're not going for those players, because they just don't want to spend the money, so they're not going for the players. So what they're then doing everything that they go for the players at the day, like your Lavia, like your Vega, like your Trinidad, and so on. They go for those top players. They may not be that the finished article. They may be the potential, but what I'm trying to say is that this is what Liverpool do. So if this is what Liverpool doing and think that, right, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna do in the day is see the positives out of these players and everything that, and see what we can get out of them. That's what I'm saying. Because these other players today, right? We're not getting them. We're just not getting them.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Let's not waste our time with players that we're gonna get. I mean, because as time goes on, the transfer window gets closer to be closed. You know, remember what happened with Chua? Same thing happened. We wasted our time with that player. He chose to go to Real Madrid, and then we skipped the transfer. You know what I mean? So they need other options other than Lavia. If this is not going to work, they need another player, or one or two players. After that. Because that midfield role, especially the defensive side, guys, is an important role. Every team that goes for titles, that's their most important position in the team, and that's what we need. That's what we need to do, guys. Yeah. Let's move. Go on, Uncle. Go on.
No. I'm going to say that. I was just agreeing with you. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah. I didn't even look at the comments. So yeah, John Conway says big up to Top Man and Ep40 and all that. Yes. Let me just go to the comments and then we'll go to the next one. Yes. I don't want to leave anyone out. So big up Redbird. Yes, France 98 shirt. Thank you very much, Lewis. Big up, lads. Thank you. JK, big up, bro. You never walk alone. Thank you for coming on, people. Honestly, thank you. Jason says great stream. Thank you. I agree. Yes. Everybody, look there. What I want to move to next is it's a good conversation, guys. By the way, I don't like to interrupt. I'm not rude, you know what I mean? I don't like to interrupt when people are talking. So keep it up. That's what I'll say. The next one we're gonna go to is this one. So, as you guys seen the interview during pre-season, the Jurgen Klopp said, "Trust us, believe in us. This process is going to be, going to work." Like he made a promise when he first came to Liverpool Football Club, and he did say, like, in 4 years we will win the title. And this one, he said, like, we're trying to change the way we play. We want to do the hard working as well as being a possessional team and technical team as well. But what a lot of people saying, but you're not a technical manager. You're that type of manager that does gegenpress, and hard working things. But if you look at his Dortmund career, if you look at the players he had at Dortmund, probably 80% of those players are technical players. So he can work with technical players from my point of view, from what I've seen. So if you look at the likes of Gundogan, who was at Man City, that's a technical player. If you look at Mkhitaryan, you look at Kagawa, you look at Rios, you look at Goetze. There's so many players that had that in that team that were technical. So he wants to marry both of them for us now with younger players and make us more powerful than just being, gegenpressing like we did in the past with the likes of Gini Wijnaldum, Fabinho, and Henderson. So what do you think, Albert? Can we do both of them with these players and make it less in a sense of running the players into the ground? Because our average age, like I said in the beginning, probably is 25 and underneath that now. It's no more like 31 and underneath that. So what do you think? What do you think?
Could be Uncle Albert,
Uncle Albert. Uncle Rodz. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying.
I see him every time. I can see him on the thing. Sorry.
It was surprised us.
That's funny, actually. I thought, hey, who's talking to me?
I said Uncle Rodz all the time. I forgot. I completely forgot. Go on, Uncle Rodz. Go ahead, mate.
Yeah, it's all good.
You know what they keep saying about the technical side? He can't work with technical players and all that stuff. He's all about the gegenpressing and all that. But do you think he could transform this team into a technical as well as the gegenpressing and all that stuff and marry it together? So we could not run the players into the ground anymore. You know what I mean?
Listen, we was talking the other day, and I was talking about Klopp the other day and everything that, and I was saying when Klopp leaves the club and everything that, who do you get in the day that's gonna sort of that's gonna be, who you're gonna get that's gonna be the same as him? He's just like he's this kind of manager and everything that, right? That he gains your trust. You know what I'm saying? He gains your trust. He's like that he's like that friend and they, right? That you go to and everything. You're stressed out about this, you're stressed out about that and everything that. You know what I mean? And he tells you, "No, man, don't worry, man. Everything's gonna be all right." And then it turns out all right. listen, the season at the end day, sort of like when we had 3 defenders out. Do you know what I mean? And we still managed to finish 3rd in the table. Do you know what I mean? You know, my trust for Klopp went up. Even last season, and I think that. Do you know what I mean? You know, I still trusted him because it wasn't anything like. I suppose that every manager at the end day, every good manager at the end day, has a bad season. Do you understand what I'm getting at? You know what I mean? Has a bad season and stuff. And if there's anybody at the end of the day that can turn it around, it's Jurgen Klopp. I'm sorry, it's Jurgen Klopp. I love my manager. I trust him 100%. Do you know what I mean? I know I've got that feeling with Klopp and everything that if he gets to a certain time in his tenure and he feels at the end of the day that he can't do it anymore, I feel like he probably walk away. He probably just walk away and say, look, I can't do it anymore. But like as I said with Klopp, if there's any person, any manager that can turn it around at the end of the day, because remember at the day when we started for 17-18 and then right, then you had Mo Salah come in and then all that fast-paced counteracting football, scoring goals and stuff like that, and we've done that all the way up to sort of like the we're winning the Champions League. You know what I mean? Did you notice that the following season and day it was more possession playing football? Yeah, it was more possession and day, and he could less concentrated and day on sort of like keeping the ball and defending well and everything. We wasn't so like gun ho and everything that right. Yeah. And what happened that season? We won the league. Do you know what I mean? So anybody asks me at the end of the day, why can Klopp turn it around? Fuck yeah. Do I trust Klopp? Fuck yeah.
Yes, I'm correct.
I just trust it. I just think at the end of the day that this is one of the most amazing managers that we've had at Liverpool Football Club. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And when he goes and everything that, as I said, when he leaves the club, there needs to be a statue at the end of the day, right, outside the Anfield and everything that. And if they don't build one, trust me, I will build one. I will build one. No, I will build one because he's given Liverpool. When you look at it, I know that everybody will agree on this panel. Yeah. When you look at Jurgen Klopp, he has given Liverpool so much amazing nights and everything like that, right? Oh. He's got me like there's some certain times at the day, right? Like I watch back on some of the nights that he's done and some of the things that he's done and things like that, right? And trust me, big man like me sheds a tear, Yeah. Big man says it gets you emotionally. It really gets you emotionally for one of the times that the day when he was when like Divock Origi scored that last second goal.
I guess, you know what I mean? He ran on the pitch.
He ran on the pitch and he grabbed Alisson. He hugged him up because it all started for Alisson. Yeah, it all started for Alisson and think that. And what it was in the film, if you look at the replay, what they've done, they've literally slowed it down, and you see the look in his face is like passion. You can't buy that. You cannot buy that. Do you know what I mean? So if there's any person in the day that can change our fortunes around and everything that, right, it's Jurgen Norbert Klopp.
100%, brother. Go on, Mister. Follow up on that, Mr. 12 man.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I was just responding to the chat at least, because I saw the quotes that you brought up, and like my point is this, I hear someone say the thing about. Let me make sure I get I don't want to misquote people because I my journalistic background tries to do the best not to do that. So if anything, like Trudon, for instance, says something about wait, what did he say? Klopp also said book the hotel for the Champions League final and look what happened.
It's passion, isn't it? It's passion, man. It's passion.
And my basic comeback to that was, he also said in 4 years I'll bring you a title, and he did. And that's a bold statement in itself. People talk about, all I hear about is ambition. This guy was ambitious enough to say that kind of statement that's obviously going to get clipped up from the very day, the very first day he stepped into the door, and his first press conference, he's saying those kinds of statements. And then yet that doesn't get any merits whatsoever. People want to be like, oh, you said book your hotel room for this. Like the same guy that's brought us to what, 3 finals before that? Yeah. Chances are it was a pretty safe bet that we could have gotten to that.
Yeah.
People just wash that out, you know, and then I get called. And then Trudon says something about like that's revisionary history. How's that revisionary history? I stated fact. I just quoted what he said. I quoted the fact. I referenced the fact that it happened, that it literally happened. What he did say, and yet I'm still being said, oh, but that's revisionary history. Look, a lot of people have exactly what that statement right there says. They have narratives or agendas, and they're going to twist and no matter what we say, no matter how positive, no matter how much we've seen people go from doubters to believers, we're still going to have people that are going to just say no.
I'm gonna let you finish, Liv. I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm done.
No, but I'm gonna say one thing to your point. Point you just said. One thing to avoid. Alex Ferguson and they came into to Man United. Yeah, he came to Man United in 1986. One of the first things he said, and we want to be better than Liverpool. We want to have more titles than Liverpool, like more league titles than Liverpool. And what's he done? He's done it. Do you know what I mean? So everybody at the day makes their bold statements and everything like that because they see an ambition at the day of the job they're taking on. Is it going to happen? Nobody knows at the day. Yeah, but sometimes it does happen, and sometimes it doesn't happen. But it doesn't mean that
you're forgetting, Uncle Rodz, he was on the verge of getting sacked if he didn't.
Yeah, he was in the process. Yeah, he was one kick away from getting sacked. If he didn't,
Mark Robbins or something. The one for Norwich.
Yeah, if he didn't sort of like win that game against Sheffield United, if he didn't win that game in the Philip, he would have got sacked. There would have been no sort of like Alex Ferguson, but he never got sacked. And look what he accomplished. You know what I mean? And the thing is about it, and the thing that when Klopp made that statement, and that, do you see how calm he was?
Yeah.
Do you see how calm he was?
I loved it. I had to watch it because I was refusing to watch it.
I watch it all the time for inspiration. You see how calm he was? He goes, listen, we want to turn doubters into believers. We want you to believe at the day that you can go on at the day to sort of like win these titles and do this and do that. Because what he was trying to say is this, right? Mm-hmm. I can train you at the day the best way that I know how. But if you do not believe at the day that you can do it, well, there's no point. No point. So you know what I'm saying?
Can I be real with you guys? Can I be real with you? Like, obviously, me and Uncle Rodz have been through it for a long time. You know what I mean? And I've always said it. We've been through a few managers, and it never worked. Never worked. It took us maybe 8-9 managers to get to Klopp. Do you want to go through that again? You know what I mean? You got to be careful what you wish for. That old saying, because if you lose managers like Klopp, there ain't no one like him gonna follow him. It's gonna be a different manager, probably worse, maybe better. I don't know, but we've tried 8-9 managers, and we even brought Kenny back to try revive this team, and it still didn't happen. So it shows what this guy is doing, although it's with a minimal way, like spending. It's not like he spends teams or anything like that. Think about it this way. You've won every trophy possible in the top flight with not even a big budget. So if he could do that with not even a big budget, can you imagine him if he had at least a little bit of finance as well? Help. You know what I mean? So that's what we always ask for as Liverpool fans. But what we need to realize as well, with this minimal budget, he has to restart from the beginning again to get back up there, if you know what I mean. So I like McAllister. I think people are sleeping on McAllister and Szoboszlai's transfer. I agree. Think that. I'm looking at these two players. I think they're top notch. I think they will actually change our midfield. I think we become even better, possession based, creative based, and and going forward as well. They will add goals into that midfield. There's no more focusing on Robertson and Trent. You know, teams focusing in just on them two, like doubling up on them. Now they have to focus on that midfield. So when they focus on that midfield, creativity can come from every direction. You don't have to be from the box anymore. So you got to look at it that way. He's doing the right thing. It might be slow, but that's the way we have to work under this ownership. I mean, I don't say that they're the worst ownership. I'm not saying that, but this is how they are. They've been like this in baseball. They've been whatever they've been. They're always slow. Like they're slow. That's how they are, and they're not going to spend. It's what you earn, we spend. That's how they go. So them and Klopp with the work. Klopp loves to improve players. They love to buy players that's with the lower aspects of the transfers, if you know what I mean, lower expectations of the transfers. So these two are marriage made in heaven, if you know what I mean, in that way. So Klopp can improve players, turn them from, older players to world class level. And he's done that at Dortmund. He's doing that at Liverpool, and he's going to do it again. Just believe in the guy, man. You know what I mean? Listen, I've had my doubts. But sometimes, like, you got to sit back and just think about the bigger picture and look while we're here. The season we're supposed to improve when we won the Premier League. What happened next season? Van Dijk got injured, pandemic happened, all that stuff. That kind of stuff actually affects a team like Liverpool Football Club. Yeah. And we have they put the dinner lady and all them on furlough. That's how desperate we was, because they don't have that money in their pocket. I mean, come on, like you got to think about the bigger picture. We've faced hurdles to improve from where we wanted to go. Now we have to start back. Yes, I want us to challenge for the title. I don't think we're that far. Like Uncle Rodz said, if you think about Ferguson, he steps away for one season, rebuilds the team. Next season, he goes again. So this is what I'm expecting Klopp to do. So just take it easy, man, because like I said, there ain't no other managers like Klopp. I'm telling you, with this ownership that we got, we're not going to be successful anywhere else. And I'm serious about that, guys. I'm really serious. Do you want to add on anything, or shall we move on to the players and then we leave here?
No. I mean,
sorry, because you that as well. So I'm just thinking, and Day, listen, and Day, right?
Yeah.
Klopp is a 1 in a million sort of manager, and I think, and then Day, this is my cynical view coming out. I feel it and Day, right? Yeah. That FSG always knew at the end of the day they wanted Klopp and everything that. And the only reason they got sort of like what's it called? Brendan Rodgers in the day, because like Klopp wasn't available at that time. As soon as Klopp came available and think that, right, it was like it doesn't matter what Brendan Rodgers did. Yeah, they was going to go for Klopp. You know what I mean? I think they had Klopp in their radar, and they 2 years prior to sort of like Klopp coming in. But the thing is about what Klopp does and everything that what he does with these young players. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, not to go back to the conversation, but that's what I'm saying that day. Sort of like with sort of like these young players like Lavia and this and that. What he does, and he turns doubters into believers. You know what I mean? He makes them believe at the day that sort of like they can sort of like, do their thing. You know what I mean? That's the sort of person. So yeah, if anybody asks me, do I trust Klopp? I trust him 100%. I wouldn't trust him. I wouldn't trust him with my wife. You know what I mean? But I trust him.
Now, you know what I was just going to say is that, you know what? It almost doesn't even matter whether we trust him or not. You know who really matters is whether that locker room trusts him. And,
yeah, correct.
100%.
You know what it is, Todd, man. You know what it's so to interrupt. Let me just say one thing. Like, like anything in life, guys. I'll ask both of you this question. Like, anything in life, if someone done good for you in the previous year, and are you gonna like completely get rid of them and tell them to go away, or are you gonna trust them to give them a chance in the next year? That's what I'm trying to say about what happened with these players. We went for the quad. I repeat, the quad in the previous season.
Mm-hmm.
Next season, obviously we didn't add on to the squad, but the manager trusted them to at least compete in the next season, and it didn't happen. That's what I'm trying to say is, if a team tried the quad the previous season, are you going to completely get rid of them in the next season, or are you going to give them a chance, try to like get going again?
Yeah, right. No, you're right on, and that's why. Look, one thing I've come to acknowledge is that we live in this TikTok era where people are quick to, have goldfish memories, and also we're in this era where when you reference things, people often reference as if football started with the Premier League, and that's it. and they don't understand the fact that, you know, this club has a long historic, you know, heritage of great years, great multiple years, and then also pretty poor years, you know, despite, you know, whoever was in control of the board, you know. There's been times that we've had to go through a lot of different like downs, and there's been times when we've gone through some really great ups, you know. So but like, as in, you know, when I reference or talk about things, sometimes a lot of people will say, oh, well, this about this era that we're in, and I'm like, that's cool, but I mean, like, it's not like Liverpool was created on the last 7 or 8 years, whatever it's been, of this Klopp era, you know. But one thing I can say is that Klopp has, if you cannot say that you've got a restored faith in this club and restored some type of restored, you know, just confidence, or even just what's the word I'm looking for? A restored sense of pride in this club, okay, from what this man has brought and done, then I don't know what else to tell you. If you don't, if that's I reference it often. I think Jurgen Klopp is Maximus from Gladiator, and he should be not entertained, because that's realistically what it feels like at times. I'm looking around you. I'm like, are you not entertained? Because this is what you asked for. You asked for a championship.
A guy who relates to you. A guy who relates to you
for silverware. This man has brought you 7 major titles, you know, and yet you're still going, that's not enough.
Can I ask you a question, guys? Like, especially Uncle Rodz. Like, let me ask you guys a question. 7 years ago, before 7 or 8 years ago, whatever it is, if someone offered you in the next 7 years all those trophies at that time, when we was like buying the Lamberts and all that stuff, would you have taken it? And it tells
I would have bit the hand off, mate.
You'll probably skip a season.
Exactly.
I would have bit the hand off. I was like, where do I sign up? Where do I sign? Where do I sign, man?
Right. Fan would say,
right.
You know, but you know what? Saying that about Klopp. Saying that about Klopp. You see, Klopp to me and then Dave. Klopp to me and then Dave, right? He's just literally, I can understand. I can understand what he done, yeah, with this, obviously the quad, after seeing the quad, and then, you know, the next season. I can understand what he done. Do I agree with it? No, I don't agree with it. But I understand what he done, and that's one of the main things in life, and then that helps you kick on in life, is that you can understand things. You may not agree with it, but at least you understand it, and then it kicks, and then it's sort of like you're at peace with it, as it were. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think he realized that, and they were, fuck, you know what? This ain't gonna work enough for that. But he realized too late. Do you know what I mean? He realized too late. It's not gonna work.
Trusted him, innit? Because of the work done previous season. Like in life, you're not gonna chuck people away like that, are you? You're gonna give them a chance again, aren't you?
Yeah. Because what he's probably thinking today, if I add like 1 or 2 people in the squad. Excuse me. If I add,
Chouamini, someone like that, didn't he? And the Chouamini,
that's what I'm saying. If I add, like, you know, a Nunez at the day that I know is a baller, then I add Carvalho at the day in there, and you know, somebody else. You know what I mean? If I add sort of like, you know, these couple of players and everything, that, right, we should be all right. Do you know what I mean? Because the midfield and everything, I think the midfield can go again. Do you know what I mean? But when he realized at a certain time in the day, shit, I fucked up here. You know what I mean? I've really messed up here. But you know what is it today? He's only a human being. Do you know what I mean? You know, and he's flammable like we all are.
He's one of us as well, Uncle. He's one of us.
He's one of us. You know what I mean? He's one of us.
None of us. Yeah. None of us put him on like, as much as people want to say, oh, everyone puts him as like he's the savior or he's like this, and I'm like, no one says he walks on water. He's a man, just like everyone on the panel, and he makes mistakes. And if anything, the one thing that I've always credited him with, or the one major thing that I've respected him for, is that he will openly say, and he has openly said, I've made a mistake. I made a mistake. And I'm going to learn from that mistake, and I'm going to rectify that mistake by bringing some type of resolution, by working harder, by wanting to be better. And that's something that if you ever take on a situation as a man, myself, like that's an attribute that you have to have. If you don't have that attribute, then then you're stubborn, then you're arrogant, then you're being immature, or being all these different things. Those are things that
let's face it. Let's face it in the day, right? That's what I'm trying to say. I understand what he done. I really understand what he done. But let's face it in the day, right? In respects of Jurgen Klopp in the day, right? We as fans at the day, we need to get behind Klopp. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know, pause. You know what I mean? Yeah. Right. You know those ones, right? But we need to sort of like, you know what I mean? We need to support him, because you see what it is at the day, right? I'm telling you for nothing in the day, right? As I said, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I'm a better fan than anybody else.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying today, I've seen the dark days, 12 man, and the dark days they weren't pretty. They were not pretty.
I went through depression. Uncle.
Yeah,
I love this stuff so much. I went through depression.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, it's true. Honestly, I'll tell you one time that really hit me, and I think that right. It was 1996, and I think that right, and we played Man United in the FA Cup.
The white suits day.
Yeah, when they played in the FA Cup final, and we was matching them hell for leather.
Oh,
we was matching hell for leather, and I think that, and I thought it was going to go to a penalty shootout, and then probably we win on penalties or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or even if we didn't win on penalties, and I think that, I would have said, you know what, you boys done well. Try. You don't want to took there. Cantona pops up, and I think I don't know. I can't remember if it's the 80th minute or whatever. Can't remember.
Last few minutes, I think it was.
Yeah, Cantona pops up. Yeah, and he scores that goal, and then win the sort of like they win the FA Cup. Do you know that feeling? There's a feeling that you get inside you, and I think that right when you're upset and you're sad. That feeling of and just like I was out. I was out and about. You don't watch anything after that. Yeah, you just don't want to. No, because I was out and about. My friend had a market stall, and I think that right, like in an indoor market, and he had a market stall, and then so I used to go by there every Saturday, just chat with him, catch some joking and that. And then what it was, there were to the right of us, there was this guy, and he had like electrical shop. He had some TVs, radios, and all that. So I was just literally going backwards, forwards, checking the scores and this and that. And then I fucking started singing for that. And I tell you what, I literally said, you know what, I'm going home. I literally went home. I was supposed to go out that night. I said, I'm going home. Yeah. I'm not coming out later. Because, I was literally thinking. But so I've been to those days at the end of the day, right? Those sad days. And I lived through those sad days, the sad days of Gerard Houllier, the sad days of Rafa Benitez, the sad days of like Roy Evans, and all them people that Graham Souness. I lived through that. Do you know what I mean? When we lost in the FA Cup, I think it was the FA Cup to Bristol City. City. You know what I mean? I've been through that. Do you know what I mean? And here comes a guy at the day from the Black Forest in Germany, Stuttgart, and Stuttgart's a lovely place. Yes. And he made us literally in the day, right? He made us literally in the day feel good about ourselves as Liverpool fans. We felt special again. We felt like we were fans again, and think that, right? When people was trying to say something to us, we say, "Shut up, man! This is Klopp we're talking about." Do you know what I mean?
You know what's funny, Uncle Rodz. You know what's funny? I didn't say. You know what's funny about what you just said. These are the same people who are moaning who wanted Wijnaldum out, and then when they realized the midfield ain't the same anymore, Wijnaldum back. Gini Wijnaldum. The same people. Put Redbuzz comment up. He's got Klopp. He's one day Shankly. Put that one up. Yes, sir.
Good. Yeah. So look at that. I couldn't have said it better myself. I could not have said it better myself than that. He's got the same philosophy as Bill Shankly. Because what Bill Shankly did in the film, when Bill Shankly came into that club in 1959, and then right, we was, trust me, we was we was at it, man. We was just like
he called it. It's a toilet, innit? He called it a toilet. Liverpool.
Yeah, because we've been relegated. We just come out of relegation, didn't we? Come out of relegation because we got relegated in the 50s and that. And we just come out of relegation back to the top league and I think that, right? And we was like heading back down there again and I think that. And he came in and literally changed every single thing.
Top.
Do you know what I mean? He was the one at the day, right? He was the one that we can sort of like, all our thanks to how Liverpool got to where they got to. It was him that started all of it.
I think frankly would have never lasted in the days of social media though. That's the problem is that
no one's patient. No one's patient.
Social media is we're utilizing social media right now to be able to reach out, have a voice and everything else. But realistically, you know what? Like as in he would have had like such a short window. There would have been like such a short measure of I'm talking about if he were in today's if he would be reborn in today's era, not back then. I'm talking about today's era, and that's why
I agree with you.
100%, man. 100%.
I agree with you.
Why I always say
12 man. That's for you, mate. That's for you. Read that one. That's for you.
You think Gerrard becomes Liverpool manager one day? I'll be honest, I don't think so. I'm not sure he's top manager material. Wow. Loaded question. I think that truthfully, you know what? It's going to sound crazy, but I would sooner see possibly Xabi Alonso be Liverpool manager before Steven Gerrard, unless Steven Gerrard really gets it under control as to what his vision and what his message and what his connection with these players is going to be. I think that there's a place and time when you go past just being a great, you go past Frankie Lampard, great example of what that is. Like as Lampard had two shots at the 2 bites at the apple, basically, you know, to really make it work at his home club. He's a club legend, you know, but what he ended up doing is possibly, you know, kind of hurting his legendary status, you know. I mean, you brought up Graham Souness, you know, there's other, you know, whether it's King Kenny when he came back a second time, you know, like as in there's things that you can do that despite what level place that you created, you still could do harm to your legacy. And what I wanted to also amplify is that I think it's important to understand you guys started, you know, following this club years before I did. So your takes, your ideas and expectations are different than my ideas and expectations for this club, considering now they've definitely been measured by the sense that I do read history, or I am a person that likes to learn about my history. So therefore I do know where this club has been and what has come from. But I also know that with my own eyes and with my own heart being involved in the different ups and downs that I've had to witness, I latched on to this team during the 90s. And that's why when I see these places, I'm like, look, I've been through some hard, like I said, it wasn't like I was some
coming to a winning team.
Like, well, I see all of a sudden all these people wearing city shirts or shit, you know. And I'm like, you know, all right, I get it. You just latched on to a winner. I could have easily, being that I'm not from England, I could have easily just latched on to Manchester United, who was the cat's meow at the time, okay, the SHIT at the time, you know. You know, so I could have easily done that and enjoyed that kind of ride with winning and everything else. But but there was something about Liverpool, something about the fan base. There was something about the fact of, you know, the players that were enamored to me, you know. Those things, like guys, and I grew up as one of my favorite players growing up was Michael Owen, for instance, you know, like those types of things are things that made me feel as though I knew the connection and the struggle that I had to go through with this team and eventually getting to that pinnacle in 2005 was something of me knowing exactly why Klopp said what he said, exactly why Milner said the same thing in an interview about being in moments where you have greatness in front of you and you don't get it, but you get up and you go for it again. And that is what that is such the brilliance of this club and the brilliance of what
we're gonna alert to that soon. You know, with Fabinho's message to Liverpool as well. I don't know if you read it. It was beautiful, man. It was beautiful by Fabinho. Oh my God.
Definitely bring it up. I'd love to see it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. When we get to him, we're gonna talk about it. Sure. Yeah. So Redbird says with 2 class players in and the young guns looking good, Klopp has upped our levels already. Another couple of signings, and we'll be challenging on all fronts, in my opinion. Listen, yes, that's what I was saying. We're not denying that. We're not denying it. 100%. 100%. We're not too far. The spine of the team is still there. It's just the quality we need to add with them. That's the only thing we're looking for at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna go into this. Obviously, the players now. I'm sorry it took us this long. I enjoyed it. I know.
Right.
It's good. Yeah. It's good. It's good. It's like it's good when brethren and they can read with each other about football and stuff. You know what I mean? It's good. Love it.
Yeah, listen, we agree with disagreeing. That's how football fans should be at the end of the day.
I get it. I mean, like I like letting people feel like they're right and feel like they've won debates. So.
That's 2. I know
the truth.
Do you realize it's 2-0 so far? It's 2-0.
Yeah.
It's 2-0.
All right, guys, we're gonna be in the players next. So let's do this.
It's up, man.
So, guys, this is the main point because I was waiting for one more player to leave, and I knew he was going to leave anyway. That's Fabinho. So we could discuss, the players' legacy at Liverpool Football Club and what influences they had, the highs and lows as well. We're going to talk about the highs and lows.
And rip the Band-Aid
off. Start with the one with the lowest, but that's all I can do. With Naby Keita, in my opinion, when we went for him, I was happy. I was the happiest man on earth. I thought Kante plus, triple. I don't know, maybe higher than Kante. Maybe he's going to be the next best thing. Yeah. But all of a sudden, he comes to Liverpool and he starts getting injured, doesn't recover quick enough.
Yeah.
And in his 29 appearances, I don't know how many influential games he had. I honestly don't. But he's won a lot of titles, as you can see. Seven titles he's got at Liverpool Football Club. Yes, Uncle Rodz, what do you think of Naby? I know a lot of people have a go at him for not being available majority of the time. Has he made an impact in some kind of sorts or not since he's been here?
He's had obviously with the times that he was available for the club. You know what I mean? He had some games that day that he sort of played phenomenally. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was just a pity at the day that sort of like he couldn't get enough game time out of him because he was the sort of person that get injured coming out the shower. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like it was just like that. He's just like he would get these crazy injuries. Do you know what I mean and stuff? But his ability as a footballer, it probably doesn't come into question because he was a good footballer. I think it was a goal against was it AC Milan?
Oh, Madrid, the volley.
The volley, the volley. I mean, that was some technique. That was really some technique in that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
His best goal was Manchester United, though. His goal against Manchester United, though, was
good as well. That was good. So
it was like set up, innit? The way.
Yeah, it was really good, and he just literally slipped it. He slipped it in the back of the net, and it was like kind of like this is what we bought him for. Do you understand what I'm saying? We bought him for that specific reason, but we just couldn't really get a lot of game time out of him. That was a frustrating thing about it. He could probably have 5 or 6 games at the end of the day, sort of like where, he was like, obviously played very well. And then sort of like he'll get injured, he'll be out for a couple of months and that. And then it's back to the drawing board again. Actually sort of like, getting match fit and, what I mean? He's just constantly getting match fit. You know what I mean? And stuff. So it was very he's a very frustrating player. And he went to Werder Bremen. He went to Werder Bremen, and he's injured. He's injured there. He's got injured again. Yeah, he's got injured already. So I'm thinking that day, you're right, no disrespecting him for that, because I know obviously it's your trade and this is how you earn living and for that. But maybe you should probably give up football, because like you spent most of your time injured at England, in England, in England at Liverpool. You spent most of your time injured there, and now you've gone back to Germany now, and you're injured already. It's not a very good sign. Yeah. It's literally not a very good sign for you.
Thing again, isn't it? It's all over.
You know, so it was very frustrating. But like, you know, if you look at his ability, if you take obviously the injuries out of the way, you know, if you take that, put that aside and everything, that, because we all know about his injuries, right? Yeah. Put that aside and for that, his ability as a footballer, he was good. He was very, very good. You know what I mean? You know,
what's his highs? In your opinion, what's his highs? Like, I'm gonna go to that one at the end. What's his
highs and they, as 12 Man said, the Man United game, he bossed that game. That one, Atletico Madrid, he bossed that game, and there's a few others that. He finally bossed it.
That he was consistent in it. Did he have any good seasons? Like since the 5?
He never really had. He never really put together. He never really put together a consistent season, because he was always injured. So what you have to do when it comes to Keita, you have to literally pick out some best moments in the match, because it wasn't like a continuous thing. Because what happened with Keita and everything that it was like Keita was a situation where it's sort of like you'll pay, like, let's say like you pay like 10 or 15 games in all competition. Yeah. I'm talking about FA Cup, sort of like Champions League, and League Cup. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He spent 15 games a lot. The rest of those games that we had to play, he would have been injured. Do you know what I mean? He would have been injured if that. And it was like, it kind of like, you know, he'll have a game, He'd have a game and I think that, and he'd play really well in this game and that, right? The next game of the day, he's not picked in the next game. Why? Yeah. Because he's injured. He was like a Harry Kewell. Do you remember Harry Kewell?
Oh man, I was the happiest man. I thought next John Barnes, innit? That's what we thought.
Yeah,
it never happened.
Yeah, and even him, and he was his ability as a footballer in the day, right? You know what I mean? Because I remember that goal he scored against
the volley.
Yeah, against was it Fulham? I think it's Fulham. I think
Tottenham, with Steve Finnan. Far post.
Yeah, with Steve. Yeah, that one. When Steve Finnan crossed it in, and Steve Finnan, he was a good player as well. Steve Finnan.
I like. You know, not many people talk about him. I really like him. He's a Champions League.
Finnan was bad.
Come on, man. Left foot, right. Come on, man.
Listen, Finnan was wicked, man. And like,
I love Finnan, man.
And Steve Finnan crossed it in from the right side of the thing, that right, and he just let it drop. He didn't even let it drop before he hit the floor. In fact, he's gone bang, volleyed it back in there. I was like,
bad boy,
Ross. I was like, Ross. I said that is a volley. But the thing about the thing, that right, he will literally play and then right. Yeah. A couple other games and everything that right, and then he get injured. When you got a full season out of him, because there's been times that we have got a full season out of him.
Yeah,
I'm actually telling you, today when Harry Kewell was fit, and then right, he was literally unplayable. I'm telling you, nobody literally unplayable.
His shirt, man. Oh.
But he's just like Keita, and then he just did like Keita. Well, Keita was worse because you never really got a full season out of him, really.
No.
You know what I mean? But the two games at the day that obviously spring to mind at the day is like the Man United game where he's bossing it, and Atletico Madrid game and the Madrid game. Those are the two games that sort of like spring to mind for me.
Yeah, you know, listen, not many people think he's done a lot. But some people can pick out games like you just said, like he influenced. And I thought in the quad season he was majority of the time fit in that season as well, and he played pretty well. I mean, 12 man, are you here or?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. We're talking about Naby Keita. What do you think of him, mate, as a player? Highs and lows, mate?
Yeah, I've just been engaging with the chat. And what I would say truly is that, yeah, look, the comment I just left about the NFT, the NFT midfield had such promise. You know, the NFT midfield with Naby, Fabinho, and Thiago had amazing promise. But the unfortunate thing about all of that was availability. Availability is the key to any sign of success in football, period. You know, you got to be available to be able to play. And if you're not available, then you're just never going to be able to, improve or even have the chance to succeed or fail. Yeah. So, Naby was, as I said, he was Mr. Glass, unfortunately, from Unbreakable for us. And, like I've never really heard about players like getting injuries, walking off the plane, or you got injured on like walking across the grass. I was just like, what? How does that even happen? What is that? Is this a joke? It's not April Fool's, right? So like it's one of those things where he has such promise. I mean, he's one of the top 5 signatures that we've had of this club. He's someone that we were so heavily invested on that we allowed for him to go back to his club for a year to play with his club. It's one of those things where there was, and at times when he was healthy, you saw what it was that we had invested in, or why we were wanting to invest in his services. But unfortunately, it is what it is with Naby's with Naby, because he's no longer with the team. So I wish him the best. I wish him good health, and more power to you.
Final thing would big up and people subscribe to Ensman TV. Quality.
Man.
The final thing, guys, is he a legend or not? What do you put him, Uncle Rodz?
I'll tell you what, he's a frustrating legend. He's a legend of being frustrated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, it's you know what it is though. It's sad in a way.
Hollow's a legend.
Who?
He's a legend, like Sleepy Hollow is a legend. Like, you can't
that's good.
I'm one of the most positive people you'll meet in this club for this club. There's no way.
But you're not feeling it. You're not feeling it.
Nah,
I'm not feeling that one.
I guess it's not a legend then. Obviously, we're gonna start off with the slow ones, isn't it? We're gonna start off with the slow ones.
You know what, right? Yeah, it's true what he said to them from that, right? Tough Man is one of the most positive people you can meet in your life,
I can't believe it.
If Tough Man says that today, nothing, he's not a legend for that. That means there's no hope of him being a legend in there. There's no hope.
No, there's none.
The next one is this guy. Started off great. I was happy when we bought him as well.
Absolutely.
I thought like with his power and pace from midfield, he could change the way we play. But after that Roma game at home, when he made that tackle and his leg got separated, I believe, it wasn't the same player anymore. Because every single time I looked at Oxlade-Chamberlain on the pitch, I'm just worried in case he gets injured again. You know what I mean? That's how worried I was for him, because he was always like dropping to the floor, and you could see he's got issues. Ever since that game, I think against Roma, he hasn't been the same player. But were you excited, Uncle Rodz, when we bought him? And did you think like he was the one who's gonna like be different to the midfielders that we got in the team?
Yeah, I did. I thought he was going to make such a difference, because one of the reasons why he wanted to leave Arsenal was because the fact that Wenger at that time that we kept on playing and was like a right back, like a attacking right back. You know what I mean? And he didn't like that. He wanted to play in midfield. So that's one of the reasons why sort of like Klopp said, come to Liverpool, and brought to Liverpool. I thought he was going to do bits. And one of the goals he scored, and then they was scored a goal against Man City when he just he drove from midfield. He literally drove from midfield for that, and he just licked it and just went in the bottom corner. Do you know what I mean? You know, he scored 2 goals against Man City. He scored another one, didn't he? When he in the Champions League, when he levered it, didn't he? He literally levered it, top bin, and I think that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, and I said, you know, then the Roma game happened, and then he got that injury. He's out for a while, but after that, he did have some sort of like good moments after that. Do you know what I mean? You know, one in particular was when he against Arsenal in the League Cup, that 5-5, when he that volley that he followed. He literally took it. He just listen, man, just volleyed that ticket. That was man, just volleyed that ball right. You could have had 3 goalkeepers in there. You weren't saving that. Do you know what I mean? You know. So you had some nights. I mean, West Ham was the one we scored against West Ham. That was a good goal. So you know, he did have moments after that big injury, and that he did do well. But I think at the end of the day, sort of like there wasn't enough good moments in the day, because you knew at the end of the day when Oxlade-Chamberlain got injured, it was more likely going to be for the rest of the season. Do you know what I mean? It was going to be for the season. So his playing time became limited with Liverpool. But I felt I felt for him. I thought that, you know, hampered with injuries and that. But the difference between sort of like Oxlade-Chamberlain and Naby is that Oxlade-Chamberlain showed a bit more than his quality. You know what I mean?
He got injured by trying. You know what I mean? That's
That's what I'm trying to say. There's probably more moments at the day that Oxlade-Chamberlain had that you can probably remember and say, right, that was good, than what you could do with Naby Keita. Do you know what I mean? You know, but you know, he's injury prone again, and as you said, the day after that Roma game, he probably was never the same. Do you know what I mean? But he did manage to give us some good moments in the night. I mean, I still think back to the goal he scored against Arsenal. That was quality, because you know, Arsenal, I really like Arsenal. You know what I mean? So for him to sort of like score that goal in that game, because I thought we was going to lose it. I mean, I was like working and I was doing like a driver's mate job, and I was in the thing, and when they went 3-1 up, and I thought, all right, then fair enough. Do you know what I mean? Then we started to come back, and the comeback was on. Do you know what I mean? And then, you know, Oxlade-Chamberlain scored a goal, and Origi scored that bicycle kick, didn't he? The bicycle kick. That was a good goal as well.
The League Cup, I think is it FA Cup or
League Cup? League Cup. Remember, Kelleher scored. Kelleher saved that thing.
Because I was thinking, what game is Uncle Ross talking about? No,
yeah, it's a good game. But legend. That's probably a bit too strong to say as a legend at the day. But put it this way: if I was going to give anybody a legend out of them two, it probably would be Oxlade-Chamberlain if I was going to give it.
Versus Naby, absolutely. But I mean, that's.
I'm even a legend. I'm even a legend of Naby, and I'm 53 years old. Do you know what I mean?
What about you?
Look, I'm going to give Ox his flowers in the sense of, look, he was not only a good, as they say, servant to this team. I think, though, he was someone that you could see that he wanted to contribute. You could tell that he knew that he was a good player. He had, you know, that he had the promise and everything else. And I think all of us had high hopes. All of us rated him coming from Arsenal. But, you know, unfortunately, you know, injuries took their toll on him, you know, to limit his availability, which is what I referenced earlier with Naby. But, you know, when it comes to Ox, look, there possibly Henderson, since I just saw a lot of his catalog of goals. But, you know, there was very few other midfielders on our team that really were a outside the box goal scoring threat. That was something that he had. That was something that he really, really established himself well in doing. I also think that I give him credit for the fact that he would often, you know, whether there was one time when he was like, you know, playing false nine for us, you know, whether he's playing the wing for us, you know, he was someone that wasn't going to he was going to, whatever place that you wanted to put him in, he was going to go out there and he was going to give it his all, and he was going to try to contribute. And that's all you can ask for from a player primarily. And that's why I can give Ox credit. And on top of that, you know what, whenever you got your inside looks to the team, or whenever you got those types of, like, you know, behind the curtain style introduction to the club. He was the person that was the PR person that they utilized to be able to give you the insider look, primarily because he was so well liked with so many members.
He was.
He was.
Did you see that? So to got across the 12, man. Did you see that the interview that time there with it was him and Coutinho, and this is when Coutinho was on the board of leaving the club and everything that and I think Coutinho had a good game, and sort of like the man there, and then they sort of like the reporter tried to question him on him leaving and this and that. And you see how Oxlade-Chamberlain stepped in straight away. He goes, no, it's not fair. And I think that's not fair. He's giving you at the end of the day, he's giving you an answer to your questions and everything that, right? And he's played very well today and everything that, right? Just let him enjoy his game. You know what I mean? Yeah. And let him enjoy his game and everything that. That's not really fair to ask him that question. He stuck up for him straight away. He stood right in there and stuck up for him. And there's been a few moments like that at the end of the day that, like, Oxlade-Chamberlain's done that. Like, even when you talk about the inside thing and everything that, at one time they went to a school and everything that, right? And he went with Luis Diaz and something else. And Luis Diaz speaks Spanish and Portuguese, And there was a young girl in there that could speak Portuguese. She goes, oh, I speak Portuguese and everything that, right? And like, so I think Diaz said something in Portuguese. And she says, well, I don't speak much Portuguese, but I can speak Portuguese. But then what she did, she literally had a conversation at the day with Luis Diaz in Portuguese, right? Then Oxlade-Chamberlain goes, hang about, I thought you said you couldn't speak Portuguese. I mean, like that. Do you know what he done? It was so funny. He just said he can't speak Portuguese.
He's a good. That's the reason why I can give Ox his flowers. Like I can show appreciation to Ox because you know what? He was a really good ambassador for this club. And that's what, and I know that like people are just interested in what you do on the field. That's important. That's like 9/10 of what you're going to do. But like when you're evaluating players, but you know what, I do rate when players really are good ambassadors for the club, or they give back to the community, or they give, like, those things matter to me. When you have players that really do care about the club and the outside of the pitch concerns as well.
People don't understand about the outside of the pitch, how important that is. We're gonna come to that when we talk about the captains after this. Are you guys still available, or you have to go? Or
No, I'm here, man. I'm here.
Okay. So the next one, we're gonna just move along in it. Get the next players on. So the next one is one of the players I didn't want at Liverpool when we first looked at him. I said, no freaking way. It's boring. I mean, I don't want no boring players at my club. And you know who I'm getting at, guys. He became a revelation. He became one of the most important players in this team. And how I regret what I said about him. I really, really regret. I don't say a lot, but this one, I really regret saying boring Milner. I don't want him at my club. And he proved me wrong, that's for sure. And his importance to this team, especially the winning titles, and his commitment throughout the team, like on and off the pitch, what he does for the players and all that, it can never be questioned. You know what I mean? He might not be the most glamorous players on the eye, but what he done for the football club, especially winning all those titles, it's nothing short but remarkable in my opinion. And I apologize for calling him boring Milner.
See, that's because you have the attributes of a bigger man. Like, as in you're able to say, hey, I was wrong to say that, and I'm gonna admit it openly that I was wrong. A lot of people won't do that. A lot of people will not do what you just did. And I wasn't one of those people that had the same take on James Milner coming to this club. If anything, my interpretation of when he did join this club, it was more so, and even with him leaving, even more so, it was the fact of the impression that he left with a lot of the youth, a lot of the impact and experience that that you could see was, despite the fact that there were some players that weren't even like that. I wouldn't say necessarily that weren't born, but they were definitely not, even remotely thinking about playing football. Possibly, they could have been in grade school when he was literally, doing his thing in the Prem. It goes to reference to show what a quality person he is and player he is. The fact that he was always loyal to the fact of no matter where you put him on the pitch, he was there. He was ready to contribute. Yeah. Leadership alone, obviously, that is unwarranted to say the least about his abilities in that attribute. Yeah. But when it came to James Milner, he was a professional, and like a lot of these players, are great players, but it takes a true man to become a professional, and James Milner did that for a lot of these players. And when you listen to a lot of these players and how they reference James Milner, a lot of them say, "Oh, well, I learned how to be a professional by what measures and by what example he set." And that's something that you cannot disrespect, much less undervalue. You have to appreciate that. There's a reason why this man was a part of this club. It's a reason why he stayed with this club for as long as he did. And it's a reason why Brighton, who is a very talented club in itself, a contending club in itself, have seen the fact of, hey, we would like to utilize his services despite his age, despite the fact of like everyone might say whatever they said, or he's done, he's washed, he's this and that, da-da-da. Yeah. Hey, this man still has very good qualities and contributions to display, and I wish him the best.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. You, Uncle Rod? I'll tell you something. James Milner and they is a person, and you should have a James Milner in every team in the Premiership. You know what I mean? He's so inspiring. Do you know what I mean? So inspiring from that. And let's face it, and they sort of like, he can say that he was boring and stuff, but what it was with him, he's thinking in day, I'm getting paid to do one of the best things in life. And I think something in the day that nobody else is probably being able to do. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to grab my chance at the end of the day, and I'm going to be the best I can be. Do you know what I mean? And boy, did he do that. Boy, did he do that. Do you know what I mean? I remember in his last season, I think that, and they brought him on, I can't remember what game it was, But anyway, they brought him on the pitch and everything that, right, as a sub, you know what I mean? So last 15 minutes in there, right? The man looked in better shape than anybody on the field. He looked in better shape than anybody on the field. And you got to think about some of these people, and they were probably nearly 20 years younger than him. Do you know what I mean? He looked better in shape than everybody on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? He kept himself so fine-tuned and it's unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? Because he was dedicated to his craft. He wanted to be the best of what he could be. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of like, I'm sad in a way that we never got him earlier. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I think he's sad. You know what I mean? He loved the club. Yeah. He's sad though. We didn't get him.
Yeah, he was sad. I mean, but the thing is about like Milner. It was like kind of like this shows how good it was. Yeah. Do you know that Klopp wanted to sign him for another year?
Yeah.
Klopp wanted to sign him for another year. Now Klopp at the end of the day, right, ain't gonna want to sign somebody for another year if they're not good. If he knows that they're not valued at the club. He was an amazing human being, amazing athlete. Do you know what I mean? And he's that sort of person that when Henderson wasn't there, he was quick to take up that mantra. So like, right, come on, guys. Do you know what I mean? I mean, what did he slapped some guy, didn't he? Was it Virgie slapped?
No,
he didn't slap him. He yelled at him.
No, he did. He actually slapped a player.
Simicast.
Yeah, it was Simicast, isn't it? Because Simicast, Simicast messed up and everything. What are you doing? And he just slapped it. I thought, raw.
But he took it. But Simicast took it, and
yeah, took it, and he took it, and he was better. He was better because he never actually made a mistake after that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the influence at the day that Milner had in on the club and on a pitch. Do you know what I mean?
Respect.
And like, you know, he respected, like when you was on the pitch and everything that, right? Yeah, with Milner, right? You didn't mess about. You played football. If you didn't at the day, right, you will know about it. Do you know what I mean? Milner to me at the day, right? He's another one at the day. He's just been such a testament to our club. He's been so great for our club and everything like that, right? I'm so happy. I don't know how happy I'm so happy and we've had him for this specific time and everything like that with our club and everything like that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And he's come there and he's won trophies and that, because I remember the days that we used to get these players and everything like that, right? And they end up not winning anything at the club and everything like that. And he used to like either retire or go off somewhere else and without winning nothing. You know what I mean?
The McAllister of the modern era, isn't it, for Liverpool?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And but you know, it was McAllister. It was McAllister and some. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He's just like some of the things. Do you remember that? Do you remember the last Man City game that he played? Not the one we got beaten 4-1. It was a one at Anfield in the day where he played right back. He played right back in. Yeah. He played right back, and everybody was saying, including myself, I was like, no, that's a mistake, Klopp.
Because the season before, Foden took him to the cleaners.
But last season,
he played better than Foden.
Yeah, he played better. Yeah, he played better. But he played it right back, and I thought the same thing was going to happen as the scene before. But he put in a shift. He put in a shift and a half. There was nothing getting past him. Listen. He had Foden in his back pocket. You know what I mean? People was calling the police and everything because they thought he kidnapped him. You know what I mean? He was just so brilliant that day and everything that. So listen. You know what, Milner? Listen. I hope you get to play for another 2 or 3 years. Do you know what I mean? I wish you the best of luck at Brighton. Do you know what I mean? And Brian, you're getting a really good player there. Do you know what I mean? Look after him. Do you know what I mean? And then he can come back to Liverpool as a coach or something like that. Coach the under 18s or under 23s or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And rise up right. But he's a special player, and these players at the day, you only get them come around once in a while. I'm blessed and happy at the day that he's played for my the club that I love.
Yeah, 100%. Question, guys. Let me just, Gene, I felt for Ox. Great player, just injuries ruined his prospect. Bless him. Yes, 100%, Gene. Yeah, 100%. A question. I forgot about Ox one. Is Ox a legend or not? Because we've got to pay a tribute to these players. Do you guys consider Ox a legend or not?
You know what?
Yeah,
you know what? You know what? I'm gonna give him a legend. Because you know what is in the day, right? I know he was injured and everything that, right? You can see it in the day, right? When he wasn't injured, he played. You can see in the day his effort. You know what I mean? And trying to sort of like, be the best I can and trying to help the team and stuff. Yeah. And he was such an influence in the day around the team. You know what I mean? Yeah. Inside and outside. You know what I mean? The club. Do you know what I mean? So I have to give him a legend status. So I have to do it.
What about you, Top Man? Ox, is he a legend or not?
Is Ox a legend?
Yeah. Because
you know what? So this is what I would say. For Ox, I would say he's a club icon. I would say he has iconic status. I wouldn't say he's a legend because again, he just got to availability and everything else. But I definitely would say he's a icon for me.
But would you say he's a legend in the way that sort of like, I know you said it's an icon. I could agree with that. You know what I mean? But I suppose that we know at the day that that he's obviously he's playing wise and everything. He didn't feature a lot and everything that. Do you know what I mean? But the reason why I gave him a legend at the day, right, is hopefully you agree with me. The reason why I gave him a legend on stage is because when he did play, the effort that he showed at the day was like was brilliant. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, right. Just unlucky in the day that he got injured and he was out for a period of time. And plus at the day around the changing room, do you know what I mean? Right, with the team and stuff, like you know, inside the club and outside the club and everything like that. You know what I mean? He was brilliant and everything like that. I think that's why I probably give him that legend status. If you're talking about ability, it can be debatable, but like we're gonna throw everything else in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, so that's why I probably give him a legend. But then I can actually agree with what you're saying at the day. It's like saying an icon. So I probably would change it in the day to sort of like icon then.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? I probably would change it to that.
It's like, because I don't think he's like a world great or something along those lines. You know, like he wasn't exactly like the world class stat. You know,
could have been by the injuries. You know, he could have been. We don't know what he could have been.
No, he could have been.
Doing well before the injury.
Look, you know, I mean, there's Balotelli could have been as well. You know, but I mean, like. You know, unfortunately,
mentally, Balotelli wasn't there though. That's the thing. Yeah.
But for myself, I just see it as like
icon.
Icon, yeah.
I would think that he's an icon for me, and he's an icon, a part of a legendary team. Like and it's easy to possibly say legendary status for a lot of these players simply because they're a part of a team that broke a 30-year spell. For us in bringing us.
It has been tough, mate. 30 years, tough, man.
Yeah, it's a long time. That alone could get you legendary status. But for me, it's more so. I just think of it as like, there's no shame in being a iconic status or iconic member as well. You know, I didn't say that you were a bum or a missing feature. You know, I didn't say that. You know. I'm saying that you're definitely you brought some cherished memories, and you definitely brought some notable accomplishments, or been a contributor to some notable accomplishments of this club. So therefore, you get iconic status.
Okay.
I like I love is when Americans say he's a bum. I love it. I love it.
I know that. I used to work in.
You know what I mean. It reminds me of those old American gangster films when they used to call people, you bum. You know what I mean? Quality, man.
As he says, agreed 100% on call. Some moments of brilliance, but too injury prone and not enough game time to make impact in the end. Yeah, that's how it is with all the players. But I agree with you, 12 man. Yeah, iconic is the best word to describe him.
Yeah, probably is. Yeah.
Legend. You have to do a lot to be a legend, don't you? You got to be.
I think we would cheapen the word legend if we just give it to everyone.
It's like when people go past nowadays, like they just throw it like that. I remember when we was younger, Uncle Rodz. Well, we used to say Pele, Maradona, Cruyff, and then we used to struggle what to come after that. Nowadays, everybody's world class.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. You have to do a hell of a lot. A lot. Sorry.
Go on.
No, I'm just saying that I was just saying that day, so like referencing to what you said and everything that, you know what I mean, you had to do a lot back in the day to get that legend world class status. You had to do a lot.
Absolutely.
Milner obviously is a legend, so we're not gonna even entertain that one. Next one is the man who just left recently. This man, obviously, is gone. He's gone join Benzema. Has he made an impact? Hell yeah.
I think Fabinho leaves as a legend. I believe that Fabinho, to reach again, one of the characteristics I believe that helps a legendary status is especially if you reach world-class levels in your position while playing, at this club.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So I believe that there was a moment, if not an extended moment, that Fabinho was seen to be possibly the
best midfielder, defensive midfielder in the world. Yeah,
is the best in the world. You could easily say that Fabinho was the best in the world, and that's something to me that alone is an honor and a privilege to say that we had one of the best players in the world playing at his position, playing for this club. And he honestly did do immensely a lot of work in the contributions in bringing us the 7 titles that he's got to his name.
Yeah,
I
love what he wrote as well, guys. You can see it. Like how much he loves Liverpool and all that stuff. He said today, I could read it for you if you want me to, or should you want to just?
Yeah, no, read it for me.
Yeah, so it says today I leave my home. So he loves Liverpool. He calls it his home.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been 5 years wearing this jersey, and always with great honor. I'm gonna cry in a minute. Happiness possible. Since day one at Liverpool, I've been embraced by everyone. What I saw inside this club, the relationship between the people, that made me feel like family. As we all know, Liverpool is a family club. No matter what we say, if you know this club, that's what we are. And he said, in these 5 years, I grew as a player, as a man. I made dreams come true with that jersey. I won every title a player can dream of: Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, etc. He's won more than that, people, as you know. Thanks to Liverpool, I reached my highest level and played a World Cup. It's a pity he didn't play in the first team in the World Cup, if you know what I mean, guys. Like he should. I mean, Fred getting picked ahead of you, there's something wrong there. Thanks to Liverpool, I fulfilled my dreams of walking into a stadium with my son in my arms. Thanks to Liverpool, I played in the best stadium in the world. Yes, we are the best stadium in the world. It's going to get bigger though, with the best atmosphere in the world, which is Anfield. Thanks to Liverpool, I lived the biggest match of my life, the comeback against Barcelona, which was only possible thanks to Anfield. I knew we was going to come back. I knew we was going to come back in that game, guys. I knew it. I love what this crowd represents for the club. This love relationship between the club and the fans has always impressed me. You know, with our fan base, people, like, there's no one like it. It's just a pity, you know, we don't get that finance help to elevate our team. That's the only pity thing for me. And I cannot say without fear that you never walk alone. After that match, alongside our fans, we was the most defining moment of my career with Liverpool. I say this with a heart full of joy. I love this club. Thank you, Reds, for everything we've experienced together. You will never walk alone. He gave you a heart at the same time as well. So that's one of the things that chokes me up, man, when I see things like that. You know, especially overseas players saying things like that. You know what I mean? Normally we talk about the homegrown, like Gerrard and all that stuff, but you know what I mean? A Brazilian saying that, especially when, you know, Brazilian Spanish players come to this country just to like go to Barcelona or Real Madrid. These players never said that once. Alisson never says it. Firmino never says it. And you see Fabinho now. See, once you get hold of this club, like 12-man said earlier, guys, it's hard to separate you. It's hard to separate.
No, it is. It is. I mean, Fabinho is a legend.
Did anybody see the Max? Sorry to cut you. Did anybody see the Max Rodriguez letter that he wrote years ago? Did you see that one?
No,
that one, and I'm telling you, that brought a lump to my throat. The what he was saying about, and he only played there for a short amount of time.
It was the end of his career.
2 years. It was 2 years. It was 2 years he played, and he went back to Argentina to new young boys and everything that, right? Yeah. And he wrote. He basically wrote his love for the club, how much he loved it, and how much it was an honor wearing a jersey, and how much anybody, like, people come to this club. Yeah, fam.
Look, I can't value enough the fact that when players like this, especially considering a lot of us are asking for us to start going Chris Angel's in the house, for instance, you know, we all would like to see us start to invest more in the South American market of players and such. You know, when you have influential players like Fabinho, you know, making these, you know, heartfelt pledges and
that got me,
declarations out there about how this club, how the fan base, how everything associated with this club is so positive in his life, in such a meaningful portion of his life, that has merit and it carries worth to those younger generations of people in Brazil, in Colombia, in Ecuador, in Chile, in Argentina, all these different places where all of a sudden, you're starting to see, the Liverpool Red is replacing, possibly, if anything, it's an uphill battle, but starting to compete at least against your Real Madrids and your Barcelona kits. All of a sudden you see someone with the Fabinho jersey or with the Bobby jersey or with something along those lines of some great player, with your Diaz's, or with your McAllisters. Like, all these different things are really great testaments of how important it is to have quality players, quality people. I can't stress that enough. To have quality people associated with the brand or with that badge. All those things are important and exceptionally important, and it's something that I appreciate from Fabinho. And again, I wish his new family, he's brought a new child into the world. I wish.
Don't forget his wife, guys. His wife is a big part of it as well, man. She when we signed him, she.
Oh, I know. She was huge. Yeah. She was huge. She was all on board, and that's one of those things I can't say enough.
She was proper. She used to what she used to do, and from that, right, she used to galvanize all this sort of like the Brazilian players' wives, and then from that she used to galvanize them, and they always go together, go out shopping, eat dinner, and this and that. You know what I mean? Like, people like Firmino, Alisson, and then obviously Coutinho when he was there. Do you know what I mean? So his wife at the day was she's a big testament in the end of the day to sort of like.
Sometimes, Uncle Rodz, what hampers a player is the family life as well, isn't it? If someone's not settled, they more like they want to leave. You know what I mean? But she played a big part, guys. I'm telling you.
Yeah, she kept him grounded. She literally kept him grounded and kept everybody grounded and from that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
She's a warrior herself. She's a fighter.
Yeah,
and definitely a ride or die type chick. So you can't.
Well, she used to play football as well.
Yeah. I think she played for Monaco, women or something. I'm sure she did.
That's cool.
Yeah. Uncle Rodz, so what do you think of Fabinho, mate? Did you say anything?
Legend. I mean, even that game that he talked about, the Barcelona game where he come back and everything like that. He was fucking awesome in that game. He was just awesome. Do you know what I mean? The things that he done of it. The stand-up players for me, and then that obviously, they didn't score a goal, but what they did off the ball and everything, that was amazing. Do you know what I mean? And not many people sort of like really kind of like, took them in, because at the end of the day, they never scored. It was like more like interesting and sort of like, obviously Origi and, and Ronaldo, you know what I mean? And Trent, and the day when he done that thing when he walked away from the ball and he went back and across the in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's no interest in that. But like some of the work that, I mean, even with like Mane and Mane was everywhere in that pitch, and so was Fabinho. Basically, they was just everywhere, blocking every hole at the end of the day. He did that move at the day when he made a tackle on Luis Suarez, and then from that, and that would have been a certain goal. That would have been a certain goal, and then obviously if Barcelona scored, and then from that, it's a uphill battle again. You know what I mean? So he literally said, "Look, my job is and then day for Barcelona not to score on any account of that. They cannot score enough that." And he did an awesome job that night. To me, at the day, he gets legend status and some.
Yeah,
thank you, man. Big up, man. In my opinion, Fabinho is a legend. There's no doubt about that. Good luck to him in his future, man. Get that money in it. Get that money. As he says, big up John, big up Redbird, big up. 100% agreed with both of you. Okay. 12 bands for you. I'll go through the comments and then we'll go to the next one. We're near the end. Don't worry, guys. We're near the end. The next one is everybody's favorite. My favorite. I'm gonna miss him, man. I've never even cried for Steven Gerrard, guys, leaving. But I cried for this guy. You know what I mean? The joy he brings me, brings me joy every time I look at him. Every time I look at this guy, brings me joy. Comes off the bench, he's smiling. On the pitch, he's smiling. You know what I mean? He's just full of joy, this guy, and I'm gonna miss him. Honestly, I'm gonna miss him because there's no one like this guy. This guy sacrificed his own game as a number 10 to become a number 9 to produce the goods for the likes of Mane and Salah, and he did that with abundance. There's no player like him. He's got his own song, and his song is legendary, and he's never gonna end. And we're gonna sing it, even if he's not here. We're still gonna sing it. He's gonna be in Saudi Arabia. We're still gonna sing it for him. That's how much we think about this guy. And I'm gonna miss him, man. I'm gonna miss it. Uncle Rodz, take it away, man, before I start tearing up, man.
Listen, I know.
This one.
I know you're talking about my favorite Mackham. Yeah, Jordan Henderson. Where can you start with him? Where can you start with the plaudits you want to give him? The appreciation. There's just nowhere to start because he was literally a selfless person. He was so selfless in the way that he went about his job in Liverpool, even before he got his captaincy and everything that.
We're talking about Firmino.
We're talking about Firmino.
Firmino. My bad.
You said Jordan Henderson. I was like, oh, maybe
that's too small, guys. Sorry, that's too
small. My bad. Listen, right? Firmino and they, best set of Nashers in the Premiership. Trust me.
Yes.
Best set of Nashers in the Premiership. Listen, that guy there. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know what he done in the thing that, right? But listen, he always had the best set of Nashers for that. You almost wanted to see him smile, just to see how his team's looking today. It was always on always fleek, always on top and fair. But listen. Firmino, all joking aside about Firmino and what a brilliant player! Such a brilliant player! Do you know what I mean? He's a very quiet dude, but what he did, he went about his business and they sort of like very kind of like effective. Do you know what I mean? Came from Hoffenheim and came to sort of like Liverpool and they right. And he literally picked up where he left off in Germany. Do you know what I mean? By scoring his goals and stuff. And he was that sort of like player, and he was that link man between the midfield and the attack. You know what I mean? He did that so well, and you saw it more. And then when Fig come in, what's his name? Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp come. Then you start to see what sort of player he's like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The goal against PSG that was quality. The goal when he scored a hat-trick against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When he packed it top bin against Arsenal. Do you know what I mean?
First season, I remember.
He packed it top bin. Yeah, that was heavy goal for that. Goals against Man United, goals against Chelsea. Do you know what I mean?
Never feared anyone.
Yeah. Do you one of the bit of skills he's done in the thing and people it goes amiss in the thing that right? It's like he got the ball and everything that right, and he trapped it with his right foot, and he literally got the ball and controlled it around his left foot and passed it into a running Mo Salah, and then Mo Salah and they like put it in the bottom corner. I was against Newcastle. His skill was unbelievable. His skill was unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? And one thing I like about him is that, he loved the goal against Arsenal. That was his beating stick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if he lost the flag, he scored against Arsenal.
He got a goal on his parting shot against Arsenal. He got a goal.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. And but he was such a selfless dude and everything that. And what it isn't that he done a lot of important work and everything that's gonna go missing, and it's just his whole aura of Firmino and that I'm gonna miss. You know what I mean? Love the player to the bone, and how do you replace a player like that? I don't know.
You can't.
You know what I mean? But legend,
hands down. What about you, 12th man? Well, near the end, we've got one more after this.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I was hoping you would. I was hoping you would actually keep Bob's last. So so in case I ended up crying, it could be the last person at least. But yeah, Bobby is and was my favorite player for this club.
Sí,
Period.
señor. Get the ball to Bobby Firmino.
Yeah, the unicorn
Something
player.
that they come on you to know.
The best in the world is Bobby Firmino.
Number 9.
Give him the ball and he'll score every time.
Listen. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt you now, Liverpool.
Sorry, small man. I apologize. I got
carried away in the moment.
It's difficult not to find some type of joyous moment with that man, because he was the glue for the front line. He was the heart and soul for this team for so long. He was literally, the peacemaker. He was like the bright, sunshine smile that he had. Could definitely, make you forget about your woes and your problems. Look, it's very interesting with this club, because there are lots of people that didn't recognize the fact that even Bobby at half capacity still gave 100% commitment. He gave 100% commitment to trying to help it contribute to this club, and you can't really ask for much more from players. He set such a precedent when it comes to, again, with players in whether back in Brazil or just the precedent of like how he has so defined what we know today as the false nine. There's so many things about Bobby that you just go on and on. He's a man that, his goal, I just saw that he's got an angel number of 111 for goals in all competitions. But I mean, what's even crazier is that his assists could be measured so as equally as impressive as his goals. There are some of the most sauciest assists that I've seen, that have come from his feet. And whether it was the goals that he put against Crystal Palace, I want to say,
that were, the left foot in the box,
mesmerizing,
or it could be title season,
I think he scored a hat trick that game, right? Or it could be, or you could reference maybe, obviously, in the goal that stands out in a lot of people's minds is the goal against Arsenal, where he sat down like half the team, like he literally was just like, playing musical chairs on people, just pulling chairs out. It was it was one of those things that Bobby.
Stop! You're gonna make me cry, man. You're gonna make me cry. Stop.
Bobby made you feel like he just really made you feel happy about the game. It was like he really had like there's an essence that he brought to this game, and he made you understand and feel it and appreciate it. I mean, I remember the goal that it was unfortunate that it was a goal in a during the pandemic era, but that goal that he had where he ran basically the length of the field after he scored the goal. And I think even him, maybe he didn't even recognize the fact that there's no crowd there to really appreciate it, to the point where he just stopped and just looked,
No, it was thinking it was like, I think, so to cut across, I think it was like a semi-crowd. I think they had bits in there. I think there's like 1,000 or 2,000 people that was like dotted around sort of like the sort of like stadium, because I think that's when we was kind of like coming out of the pandemic and everything else. So he had a few thousand people in the thing. So what he did when he scored that goal, it was against Spurs. He scored a header against Spurs.
Oh, what a header! That's my favorite goal.
He loved the goal against Spurs too. He loved the goal against Spurs too.
Yeah, he did. He did, and he literally ran to the clock, but everything that ran towards the clock to say, listen, that one's for you. That one was for you. Do you know what I mean? Oh, he's just a special player.
He's a special player. I mean, like, look, the next player that we're obviously going to mention, I was talking about assists. He has an assist for Jordan Henderson, and I'm trying to reference what game it was too, but his assist for Jordan Henderson, he stood there and he just went like this, he just kind of like posed.
Is it Leicester at home? Talking about Leicester.
Was it Leicester?
What, the one when Jordan Henderson him headbutted. That one? Or?
No. I'll think of it in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just a memorable moment where he was like, so it was just one of those things where, like, despite the fact that yes, he just loved being a part of the game, loved sharing, there's so much about him that's all about love, and you can't really hate on a player like that. You have to, and I'm telling you, people, like, there's so many Joni Mitchell songs that could be associated with these players. I mean, like, you don't know what you got till it's gone, and that Bobby is one of those players that you just have to love and appreciate. So,
what about when he scored against PSG and he went like this, like that?
Oh, absolutely!
Yeah, that was iconic, man. It was iconic.
Yeah. Even Klopp done it. Even Klopp done it. As I remember, Klopp done the same thing. Yeah,
that was
the game.
Iconic. Yeah.
Memories
with that. All right, guys, we're gonna move to the final one. We're gonna share the tea in this one as well. Uncle Rodz, you could say whatever you want about him as well, because you got a lot to say. And we talked about it off the stream.
Yeah.
Him leaving Liverpool suddenly, and people asking questions, why is he leaving, and all that stuff. You could say whatever you want, guys. There's no limit to this. I'm for one, I'm gonna miss him. I mean, I remember when he came in, a lot of people didn't know much about him. He was like a right winger for Sunderland, scoring goals from that side. Came to Liverpool. He played inverted right for Kenny Dalglish. That's how I remember him when he first started. If Uncle Rodz can help me here, that's how Ray Houghton used to play back in the day under Kenny Dalglish. John Barnes on the left, Ray Houghton inverted right, and he tried to turn him into that down in on the left, and Henderson on the right. Didn't work out, but a lot of people wanted him out, and I said he's got potential, man. Just give the kid a chance. There's no. Ferguson looked at him. He said he could get injured a lot. That's why he didn't buy him. He knew the quality was there when Ferguson was at Man United. So we got him, and eventually he became the player that he became. He became a great captain, great leader. What people need to understand is when you look at Henderson, he might not be the most glamorous player that you see in the eye, but he's effective in what he does. When I was growing up, there was a player called Ronnie Whelan, Irish international, Republic of Irish international. A lot of people used to say, "What does he do on the pitch?" But when he was off the pitch, people noticed what he was doing. He was a nasty player, scores goals if you can, and him and Steve McMahon in that middle was just devastating. People thought Steve McMahon was the devil, but it wasn't. It was actually Ronnie Whelan with his little step on the toes. Yeah, man. So I remember this. You know what I mean? So this is what people don't understand with players like this. They might not be the players you catch your eye with technical ability and all that stuff, but they give you more on and off the pitch. He takes care of the likes of Fabinho's, Alisson's. That you heard them in that video. Trent's, all these players thanked him after he left. Why? Because he kept them on their toes. He made sure that distractions from outside Liverpool ain't gonna get into their heads, so they will leave Liverpool eventually. He made sure these things didn't happen. But listen, you don't know when until it's gone, as they say. You know what I mean? You don't know until it's gone. And a lot of people are criticizing him going to Saudi Arabia. Well, okay. I don't see any issues with it. And Uncle Rodz could take it from here. He has his own reservations on it, but I don't find any issues with Henderson going to Saudi Arabia. He's got no commitment to anything off the pitch. He might help people. That's what he does, but he hasn't got the commitment enough to advocate for you every single time. He might be going to Saudi Arabia to change people's point of views. Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe he's going to make people see a different side of the other side of the world. We need people like this to help out things like that as well. So yeah, Uncle Rodz, go for it, man.
Yeah, see what it is that I will get to that. I will get to that still, but let's talk about a lot of the positive things of what Jordan Henderson done first, and then we will touch on that. Right. So
It's up
Jordan
to you. If
Henderson.
you want to do that, it's fine with me.
Yeah. No, we do that in because at the end it has to be talked about. Has to be talked about. Simple as that.
man.
It has to be talked about. You know what I mean? So then Jordan Henderson at the day, sort of like, you know what I mean, selfless human being. Do you know what I mean? He came to this club in 2011, and you know what I mean, and he wasn't sort of like the people's choice, if you know what I'm saying. But what he did in there, he fought to be the people's choice. You understand what I'm saying? There was there was some doubts in the day of like, you know, his playing ability and so forth. And I think what it is, Luis Suarez that had a pop at him saying that, you know, he's too lazy and that. So I think what happened is Lucas Leiva said, listen, don't worry about that. Just work hard in the day, right? As long as you work hard, as long as the fans see you putting in effort, they will love you and everything like that. And that's what he done. He put in 100% effort every game that he played in his 12 years. And he didn't get, I mean, on the contrary, then it's probably better for us at the day that obviously Alex Ferguson didn't buy him, but he wasn't really a player that got into the lot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, that's over here or there. But his skill on the ball, he had brilliant skill on the ball. His assists were good. Do you know what I mean? I think we was playing West Brom and everything that, and he took his right leg and kicked the ball at the day from behind his left leg and passed it all the way downfield. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just one move. And I remember the commentator saying, like, what a pass. He goes, listen, if that was Ronaldinho done that or Messi or whatever done that, everybody would be sort of like, oh, what an amazing pass and this and that. Because it's Jordan Henderson and for that, nobody's going to say anything. And nobody did say anything. Do you know what I mean? You know, he was a selfless human being at the day that's brought us at the day many of good moments at the day in a Liverpool shirt. Do you know what I mean? There's one time at the day when he won the Champions League and running the Champions League. Yeah. And he was like with his dad, crying with his dad and everything that because he won the Champions League. A lot of people don't know the significance of that. Right. Number one, significance is at the day he got brought up by his dad. It was just him and his dad. Do you know what I mean? Right. So kudos to his dad and everything that for being like one of the best fathers in the world. Yeah. Number two, at the day, right, his father was going through cancer. Yeah. They didn't even know if he was going to sort of like, if he would survive at the end of the day. Sort of like him seeing pick up the Champions League, you know what I mean, or major trophy to that, you know what I mean? Yeah. So all that emotion and everything that it just got to them and that. And then the other bit was when sort of like Klopp was going around hugging the players and everything like saying, you know, well done and everything that. And he didn't notice Henderson at first. But then when he noticed him for that, they're both embracing everything that, and it was both like crying and from that. You don't get moments like that. No. You don't get moments like that often. Do you know what I mean? Then he went on that day to sort of like lift the Premier League, the first Liverpool captain and they to lift the league title in 30 years. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't differentiate between Premier League and sort of like Division 1. You know what I mean?
We was part of that. I mean, doesn't my titles count? You know what I mean? I was there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you had, and you literally, and then when you look at it in there, you literally had the same teams in there. Do you know what I mean? Right? As you got now, really, when you think about it. Anyway, so your first captain at the to sort of lift the league title in 30 years. Do you know what I mean? And stuff. And then you got to look at the Henderson Shuffle. When he used to pick up a trophy, you know what I mean? Yeah? Do you know what I mean? And how he was with a team, he used to look after his team. Do you know what I mean? I remember one time with Diego Costa tried to move towards him. Yeah. Diego Costa did a foul on somebody and that, right? And I'm not sure if it was that German, I can't remember his name anyway, right? But it'll come to me later. But he did a foul on somebody, and then he tried. Then like Henderson was saying about the foul and to referee, saying you know it's bad foul for that. And Diego Costa tried to move to him. And Henderson just turned around and stared at him. Literally stared at him and from that, right? And Diego Costa didn't want it. He did not want it. He just had it on his toes, man. I'm telling you. Do you know what I mean? As we, when you come to sort of like this thing at the day where he's gone to the sort of
about him leaving, yeah.
Yeah. When you go to we come to that now, right? You know what I mean? Because I'm glad you touched on that. Because we had a conversation the other day about it on Saturday and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to me, at the end of the day, listen. No matter to me, I don't think it matters at the end of the day. Sort of like whether he's going to Saudi Arabia and trying to spread awareness about LGBT community. I think at the end of the day, he's just going over there to play football. You know what I mean? And fair play to him, he's going to play football.
Yeah.
Now, all these people at the day up in arms and everything, because I've seen it at the end of the day on because I went on the copy show and everything, and I talked about it, and I've seen people on the day on this on the content creators at the day, seen them saying and they oh no, he's ruined his legacy at Liverpool now, he's gone over there and everything that, right? Because he was a staunch supporter of the LGBT community, and you're going over there and blah 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 and from that. Hogwash. That is hogwash. There's no way you could tell me at the end of the day that he's ruined his legacy at Liverpool because he's gone over there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's no way enough in that. So, but if you then say that at the end of the day, right, you have to put other players at the end of the day into the box as well. You have to put Jude Bellingham into the box and that. Yeah. And the thing is about it, when we do put Jude Bellingham into that box and everything that, right, people think that we're salty because we didn't get him. No, it's not. I'm just saying that the same rules should apply to him because he's arguably gone to a country at the end of the day that doesn't care about race, like race relations at the end of the day. Don't care anything about like people at the end of the day that sort of got a different color skin than them. They won't support them or nothing. At the end of the day, they literally throw him to the dogs and everything like that. But he's gone to that club. You know, a black man has gone to that covenant for that. So if we're gonna go after in the day Henderson, we need to go after him. And as well, and I think that right, there's a load of people at the day said that in the day they weren't gonna go to Saudi Arabia and that. All these journalists and all these people said they weren't gonna go to Saudi Arabia because of human rights and for that. Yeah. They end up going. Another one at the day with the Scott, that woman Scott, I can't remember her first name, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Alex Scott.
Alex Scott, right. So they all said that they, right, we're still gonna go over there now. I'm still gonna wear our armband and everything that, right? So Alex Scott said, all right, then you know what, I'll do it with you and everything that, right? When he got over there and everything that, she was the only one wearing the rainbow armband. Yep. She looked
It's like pushing someone in front of you and you running backwards.
Yeah, exactly. She looked a right. They made her look a right twat. Do you know what I mean? All these people that they said they're going to wear the rainbow armband didn't end up wearing it, and she was the only one of it. They threw her to the dogs, mate. Do you know what I mean? So these people at the day, right? These people that are talking all this mess and everything that, right? Yeah, these people at the are a bunch of hypocrites and everything that, right? And they're just salty at the day that Jordan Henderson at 33 years old is able to go to Saudi Arabia and everything that and have another 3 years, playing time and get paid good money. Do you know what I mean? You know what, Jordan Henderson? Fair play to you. And I hope you play for 4 years. Hope you play for 5 years. Go and earn your bag and everything that, right? Because you know what, in the day, it comes down to you deserved it. You put in 12 years, 12 hard years you put into Liverpool at the end of the day, right? When people at the end of the day was coating you off saying you're this and you're that and everything like that, you didn't listen to them. You buckled down and everything and worked harder. And you became, at the end of the day, one of the best captains at the end of the day in Liverpool history. Do you know what I mean? So you deserve your move and from that, right? And all I've got to say to you, Jordan Henderson, is thank you for your service. Thank you for your service in Liverpool. Because you're a legend. You're a legend upon legends. Thank you for your service.
Big up, Uncle Rodz. Fourth man, go ahead, mate. I'll say my piece at the end, and we're going to be off ski. Thank you, guys. Honestly, thank you for being with me today, man. Really enjoyed this.
Look, I have nothing but gratitude and appreciation for the captain that embodied what LFC is and forever will be. I can only say you'll never walk alone. Obviously, my Red, you'll never walk alone. And you'll always be a Red in my heart. I can also say, I wish you the best of luck. And I can also say that I hope that, and there's not even hope. I understand and can only salute the fact that you're going to continue being a spokesperson and being a role model and being all the things that you learn from, another great role model in Steven Gerrard before you, in that you are truly what a captain should and needs to be, and someone that is well established in that retribute, whether it's on the international English team, or whether it's with the Reds, or now with your new team in Saudi Arabia. Look, you'll always be a Red in my heart, and I just wish the best for you, because I know that, unfortunately, again, we're talking about the eras that we're living in today and how it's difficult to, combat people with their feelings, with realities, and with statistics, or with facts. People are going to have agendas. They're going to set things. They're going to, we're going to, again, another Joni Mitchell song in itself again, of a player that brought so much to the table. And, and unfortunately, a lot of what he brought to the table, I found value in. I'm sure the panel found some value in, but there's others that put no worth in. And I mean, like you recognize these things when you understand the value that those things bring. So I hope the best for him. I hope that Chris Angel gets a signature from the ball that he caught at his house. And I also I hope that we understand that these players eventually will come back. They'll be in hopefully like a Legends game or something along those lines, where we can see them once again. And I appreciate his service, and I wish him the best.
Big up, guys. Honestly, big up, man. Let me say something before I go. Like, people can be hypocrites, guys. That's how I see it in life in general. Like, when people talk about Arabs and all that stuff, it's all right for clubs to be bought by these people and invest in people's pockets. But when it goes the other way around, human rights and all that stuff come in. That's what I don't understand. That's why I'm a bit confused. They come to the Premier League. They sponsor all your clubs. Every club's got Arab sponsorship somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Few clubs are owned by Arabs, but not one word about human rights after these things happen in this country. But when it goes the other way around, human rights come out. Why is it? What? So what's it like? Where does this come from? All this hatred when it's the other way around. But when money goes in your pocket, it's okay. That's what confuses me more than anything. You know what I mean? Every club now wants an Arab buyer, but when players are going to Saudi Arabia and all that stuff, it's not okay. The whole point of Saudi Arabia players going down there, guys, is that country is trying to change. That country is inviting everyone. They want tourism. They want the people to recognize them for what they are, and change the perspective of other people. That's what they're trying to do. I mean, isn't this what everybody wants? The whole world to become like as one. I mean, so nobody's left out. So this is their point of view of thinking now. And not only that, if you go and play in Saudi Arabia, there's no tax in your wages. Over here, when we're working, there's more money taken out of my wages than the money I'm getting in my bank account. You know what I mean? Over there, there's no tax. You know I mean, they're not cheating you. They're not doing anything. That's why the players are going down there, because they're treated fairly. If you know what I mean. So think about it that way. Over here, we get robbed every single time. Over there, they get their money in their bank account. All of it. No tax. If they want to pay for charity, it's by their means. They want to, by their humanity sense, by them. If they want to give charity to money, that's what they do. It's your choice. It shouldn't be someone forcing you to do things that you don't want to do. So this is the difference. This is the difference between us and them. But guys, before we go, 12 man, where can people find you, bro?
So I guess if you put up my little thing at Liverpool 12th man, it's simply that. So Liverpool, put the at symbol, at Liverpool 12th man, as it says, all one word. You'll get me. Most likely, even if you put up at Liverpool 12th man with spaces, you'll get me still. Or you can find me at the Reds 12th Man as well on Twitter. Look, I appreciate all the support that I get. You know, I know it's an uphill battle to try to be this voice of the believers, to try to be this champion of our club that is going to bring out a voice and stand up for, you know, whether it's amongst our own fans or whether it's against rivals or whether it's against trolls or scrolls or whoever it might be. That's what I've taken on as being a mantle that I want to do, something of a mission that I want to take on, because I really, really know that if there's one lesson I've learned when I was younger, at least, or when I was just getting involved with this club, again, it's the fact that the OGs that you know, ingratiated me with history and the stories and the camaraderie and everything else. It was the sense of a, not only a purpose, but a sense of belonging, a sense of the fact that you are proud to be a Red and you're proud to have Reds amongst you. You're proud to say that these people are my brethren. This is my club. This is Anfield. All these different things were parts and points that I really, really got to ingratiate into my heart. And it's something that I will stand up for, even when I'm going to get pushed down or punched or knocked or whatever it is, you know, shot at. I'll do what I need to do to stand tall and continue to put that message out there that we are the mighty Reds. So I hope that you join me on this journey. And again, at Liverpool 12th Man, that's where you can find me. And big up to the chat. Big up to my Reds, as always. And mad appreciation to you, Fauci, for allowing for me to come onto your platform and be a part of this great.
It's all your channel, guys. It's all your channel, man.
I appreciate it.
Well, Uncle Rodz.
Listen, first and foremost, and everything that I'd like to say, thank you. Thank you, Fuzzy, for inviting me on the show. Thank you for inviting me on the show because
anytime.
You're my G and everything that, right? And this is, I'll just say to everybody like that's watching now, this is another selfless guy as well. He's very selfless. Fuzzy is, you know what I mean? He's always there to help you with your channel, to see if you need any help with your channel. He invites you on his channel. He always asks how you're doing with his channel and so forth and that. So he's very selfless. So I feel honored to be on his show and that he picked me to be on his show and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So like, big up Fuzzy each and every time. So people, you've got no excuse at the end of the day to like and subscribe to this guy's channel because he's very selfless and he puts out some brilliant content. So big up to you, my friend. You know what I mean? So listen, you can find me at Anfield Uncle Rodz, you know what I mean, on YouTube. I do shows at the obviously with Fuzzy. I do shows with 12th Man. We have a panel debate show that we do on a Saturday night and stuff where we chop it up. He's yet to win a debate against me yet, but we won't talk about that, you know what I mean? Yeah. But he's a great guy. He's another great guy that's you know, on that journey of positivity. He's a very positive guy. We have some good debates and everything that most of all, my debates that I have him, I enjoy that 100%. I enjoy that. I can't wait to actually debate with him because I know at the end of the day we're going to thrash out some good points. You understand what I'm saying? So people need to like and subscribe to Liverpool 12th Man as well. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button because he puts out some good content and he does a lot of good research. I'm telling you, he does some very good research. You know what I mean? He even surprises me. I'm like, damn. Is that going on? You know what I mean? But he's very good. So people, please, you know what I mean? Like and subscribe to Liverpool 12th Man. Show him the support and everything like that. And you know, get his subscriptions up and that. So support. But yeah, you can find me on there and listen. And it's been a joy at the end of the day. And listen, all I want to do at the end of the day with this content creating in the day is spread positivity and fun and laughter. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think in this world and everything that yet there's not enough love and not saying not enough love. There's not enough fun and laughter. People are not laughing anymore. Do you know what I mean? They've forgotten the art of laughing. They've forgotten the art of joking around each other and having sort of like fun debates and fun talks and fun conversations and stuff. Do you know something? And this is my purpose of the day. If I can make, you know what? If I can make sort of like even like one person in the day laugh in a daytime, when I do my content, you know what I mean, I've done my job. I've literally done my job, and for that, because that's what I come and doing this thing for, to spend joy, fun, and laughter and everything that, right? And we can all come together as residents in that, right? And talk. Do you know what I mean? Talk about our beloved team and everything that. Do you know what I mean? And not fight about it, not scream at each other and everything that, right? But just talk and agree to disagree and everything. That's my format, and that's what I want to do. So, excuse me, when I get the chance, at the end of the day, to come on, like, you know, your show and many others that I can think of that I've been on, and debate and talk to sort of like intelligent people and have fun, laughter and jokes and everything that. Solar P1, big up yourself, Solar P1. We had a nice show yesterday, very good show and everything that. So me, 12-man, Solar P1 and Total Hammer, it was just really good, you know what I mean? And those are sort of shows I like. So once again, and they appreciate you for bringing me on your show and everything that, right? And listen, when you're having your shows next time and you need somebody, just holler at me and I'm there. Do you know what I mean?
I appreciate that, Uncle Rodz. Honestly, thank you, 12th man, as well. Don't go anywhere, guys. Don't go anywhere. I'm just gonna wrap it up. Guys, it's not all about me, as I always say. Please go and subscribe to 12 Mans. Please go to subscribe to Uncle Rodz as well. Their content is out of this world. I always tune in. I don't miss a show. I'm mainly on the night shifts at work, so I always like look at their stuff as well. It's not just about us. There's a lot of Liverpool channels on YouTube. Please go and subscribe to them as well. Thanks for today. Honestly, the turnout, obviously on the comments, over 3 hours we've done this for. And I didn't think we're gonna go this long, but it's been out of this world, and I really appreciate that. I'm gonna be on the next 2 days. I'm gonna do tomorrow or today. I'm gonna do the live watch along with Bayern Munich and Liverpool, and I'm gonna do a live chat show 9 o'clock. I'm back on 9 o'clock now. That's what I used to be back in the day, 9 o'clock shows. I'll be back with another 2 tomorrow. Hopefully, it's Kurdish and Mr. E. And I'll bring someone else, special guest as well, another person. I've got both of their links underneath here, so please go and subscribe to Uncle Rodz and 12 Man as well. And I've got Baz as well, LVFCTV on there as well, so please go and subscribe to him. Thank you for everyone that's tuned in. I hope you enjoyed this. Somebody's got to appreciate those legends, you know what I mean? And it was us. I don't know if other people have been doing it, but we're the first of many. And myself, Uncle Rodz, and 12 Man. So hopefully everybody gives their, thanks to these players that done the thing that hasn't been done for 30 years. I mean, so think about it that way. All right, people. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Well, today, sometime today, doing the live watch along. Take care, everybody. Take care.